Hello, my name is Alan, and today I'm facilitating the fourth and final session of a series of Against the Demonic Conspiracy. This is the Demonic Conspiracy version of my recently kickstarted game, Against the Dark Conspiracy, a supernatural thriller, think Jason Bourne, supernatural hunter. I'm not going to say much more about the game. You can find more about it if you go to an early session. This game was organized as part of the Gauntlet RPG community's monthly calendar. If you don't know about the Gauntlet, please search Gauntlet-RPG and find out about us. We run about 100 sessions a month in round figures, a variety of games. Mostly, it must be said, towards the indie story narrative end of the spectrum, but not always. So yeah, look us up and come play with us, because we'd love to encourage you to play more games online. So I don't think I have anything else to do apart from to remind myself and everybody else that my pronouns are he, him. And then what I shall do is I shall go left to right on the character keeper, starting. Greg, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Jacko.
Yeah, I'm Greg, he, him, and I'll be playing Jacko, he, him, a disgraced Navy SEAL, but still believes in the cause, you know, just got kicked out, and he, don't want to say doesn't hold any bitterness toward him, but is still doing his job. He is hyper aggressive, professional, slightly shorter than average, built like a tank. And I'll just throw this out here. I do have, it did come to mind that I kind of but I would propose Jacko having meaningless sex with Vera to reduce the whore. But you know, I'll let Vera you know, add that if she wants to. Introduce that.
Well, we'll come to that in a bit then. And it's fair to say that at the moment you're not entirely certain where your mother is. Your mother is not responding to calls from your sister. Your sister has contacted you to tell you she's worried about your mother. Okay, moving along. Sean, say hello, tell us your pronouns, tell us about Sean McGrath.
Hi all, I'm Sean, he, him. I'll be playing Tony today, he, him. And Tony is an ex-Camorra member who has joined up by some strange circumstances, and he is a guy who kind of thinks he knows it all and loves to build things. Like he almost successfully blew something up last time, but managed not to. So he's a bit upset about that. But he did also manage to manifest Bridget, so he's quite impressed by that.
Yeah, I think we were all quite impressed that a good Catholic lad started praying and there St. Bridget appeared.
Yes.
Again, audience, check out episode 3. You really need to know what happened in episode 3. At the minute, he's looking fairly stressed on 4 stress. So you maybe should be thinking about how is Tony going to seek relief from the horror as well. Moving along, Michael, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Kate Hayes.
Hello, I'm Michael, he, him, and I'll be playing Kate Hayes, she, her. Kate is a former CIA officer, specifically trained in persuasion and disguise. Her husband, Dr. Jake Foley, who's a biologist, is currently a target, but is presently still quote unquote safe for now.
Yes, I've been thinking about whether I need to start spending some heat to just up the stakes on Dr. Foley, because it would be a shame for him to just sit in the crosshairs and have nothing happen, wouldn't it? And I do have quite a lot of heat to play with, I notice, because we are currently at pursuit. The conspiracy has identified you and is coming for you to try to capture you rather than kill in the first instance. And finally, Mendel, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Vera Stelmacher.
Hello, I'm Mendel. I use he, him pronouns. I am playing Vera Stelmacher, a former federal forestry ranger from Germany, who is an expert in vehicles and negotiation. And she uses she, her pronouns.
Thank you for that. And I noticed that her anchor, Lars, your nephew, is also in the conspiracy crosshairs. So it could be that maybe Lars drifts into some slightly no man's land of, do we know where they are? Okay. A couple of things I noticed. I noticed that Kate is still in a position where she cannot use her expertise because of circumstances. And both Vera and Tony are sitting on 4 of 6 stress. So they are sitting towards the sharp end of that. So yeah, let's take our kind of downtime opportunities to kind of consider whether anybody wants to seek relief from the horror. Well, we've got a fair idea that Jacko has a plan. But Vera, how do you feel when Jacko kind of makes advances?
I am not sure that's something that Vera is going to do. I'm not sure. I'm fairly sure. It just doesn't seem quite right, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And I have to say, mechanically, if you involve another operator, another player character in one of these moves, often they end up rolling for stress. So right. That might be a slightly risky strategy.
Well, you don't have to tell him that, Alan.
Right. It's a question of whether or not I could easily just it's a question of whether Vera lets him off easy or not, as it were. You know, she might just like leave it as you're not my type.
Oh, well, let me ask a different question then, Vera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vera, are you likely to verbally abuse, bully, or shame Jacko when he makes the suggestion as you seek relief from the horror?
You know, I think what's going to happen is this is going to be completely different than the way that that I've been verbally abusing Jacko up till now, because I'm not going to be verbally abusive at all. I will, however, actually, I will take his interest seriously, and he's definitely going to feel shamed by the turn down, as it were. Not because I'm trying to shame him, just because, like, you know, he obviously thought we were in a different movie.
Okay. So shall we start with how that? I mean, are you looking to trigger seek relief from the horror by making another player character feel some shame?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think that I think that Vera's not even trying. It's just she doesn't have a way out of that conversation without making Jacko feel bad.
Fine. So immediately, Vera, reduce your stress by 1 and roll a d6 to see what the consequences of this turn down are. Three. Vera, your inadequacy is clear to anyone watching, including you. You cannot use your expertise until stress goes up again. So make that change to the sheet, but you've got a stress back. I mean, what more do you want, you know? So Jacko, she turns you down. It feels like she feels a bit bad about turning you down, to be honest. But do you have an alternative for seek relief from the horror?
Jacko basically thought she was more professional than that and understood how things work. And so
is that how they work in the safe house? I hadn't realized.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. So basically, I don't see Jacko as one to get inebriated. As a man as seeking relief from the horror. He might get drunk, but I think it's more of a party kind of thing. So I think he just goes and tries to pick someone else up. You know, maybe he uses sex to cover up all sorts of things in his life. Who knows?
Well, we know that the safe house is in that kind of inverted commas secret basement underneath a slightly dodgy pub in the East End of London. So I dare say that there are some fairly dodgy folk upstairs, and maybe a partner is available. So you can immediately reduce your stress by 1. And then you roll a d6 to determine what the consequences of seeking relief in this way is.
And wait, so as far as I understand it, you really either want a 1 to 3 or a 6. Is that true?
Well,
Or
takes it,
depends.
they all 4+, and you will mark heat as your partner talks about you in a way that is indiscreet, that gets back to the conspiracy.
Okay, well, let's do it. We'll just roll it.
And I mean, what am I going to do with that heat apart from kidnap your mother?
Yeah, well, you already did that, so, you know.
Well, she's missing. No, technically, she's missing.
Ah, gotcha. Yep. Okay, I rolled a 5.
Okay, 4+. Things go badly, and if they are an NPC, mark heat. So I'll do that for you. And agree with me. How does this heat manifest? Not manifest. How does you having sex, having a knee trembler in an alleyway in East London, how does that end up having consequences for the conspiracy that they notice?
Well, what if the person that Jacko has sex with is actually a conspiracy agent?
Oh,
they were actually put there to manipulate Jacko, and he fell right in their trap.
so he did. So Sandra.
And that's on you, Vera.
So Sandra, we see her, there's the peck on the cheek, and off she goes into the night. But then when she gets around the corner, her gait changes. She becomes much more, immediately, she's not this young woman tottering on high heels. She is instead a professional, and she calls up the phone and says, I think I might know where the safe house is. So you gave me that heat. I am immediately going to burn that heat to, as it says on the safe house, I'm going to target the safe house. Okay, let's move along. What about Tony? Tony, you're sitting on 4 stress. Are you interested in seeing that drop? Remember, there are other ways to sometimes address the stress difficulty. Between operations, you can spend intel to reduce stress, for instance.
Yeah, just one thing on the intel. I know we found out through intel that the imps were weak to a holy weapon. Do we have to spend intel to also find out if Bentley is weak to such a holy weapon, or do we know in general that demons are weak to holy weapons?
We now know that demons are weak to holy weapons.
Right, understood.
Unless there's something special about a demon. But trust me, I would have not sent you to retrieve the Arthurian sword of St. Vincent if it wasn't going to be at least a bit useful.
Okay, great. Perfect. In that case, I think I will spend, excuse me, 1 intel to reduce stress. And I would also like to speak to Kate if possible. And I would like to say to Kate that I think that basically she is a really nice woman and I've enjoyed our time here together, but that I still fear her from past history and that she was tracking both me and my partner in the Camorra in her previous time in the CIA, and that I can't get over the fear of it.
You have reminded an operator you care most or least about of a fresh piece of the history. Fine. So your stress goes down by 1, Tony, and you roll a d6 to see how that conversation plays out.
Sure. 1 sec. Sorry, I always forget to join the dice room. I'll roll the green one. That's a 2.
2. 1 to 3. They feel, so Kate feels, you're either milking the relationship or rubbing their nose in it in this circumstance. And you feel bad. You, Tony, cannot use your expertise until stress goes up again. Or you choose to bring your anchor up in the conversation and mark them as at risk.
I think I'll definitely bring him up because I specifically mentioned that Kate was tracking both me and him.
Fine. So nothing happens to your expertise, but instead I thank you. You've just marked Giovanni Rizzo or Rizzo, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, as a conspiracy target. Oh, the reach these people have is just stretching all the time.
Indeed.
Kate, what about you? You're sitting on 3 stress. Would you like to seek relief from the horror?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Kate's reaction to Tony is very much like, look, I know I did questionable things when I was there. That's why I'm here now and not still working with them. Kate already can't use her expertise, so she kind of has nothing to lose. Plus, our heat is already close to maxed. So yeah, let's,
I mean, if you drive heat up a bit more, I mean, gosh, you know, there'll be nothing to do.
what's the worst that can happen? So Kate is going to, for like the third or fourth mission in a row, have a couple drinks, see what happens.
Yeah, this is beginning to become a problem, Kate. Someone's going to have a conversation with you soon. So by all means, reduce your
Let's
stress
see
by
how
1
this
and roll a
goes.
dice.
I rolled a 5.
On a 4+, mark heat.
Hooray.
Agree with the GM. If you make a scene that attracts unwelcome attention, let something slip to the wrong person or carelessly wreck something important or meaningful, and say how this puts the operation at risk. Now, last time you got pissed in the bar upstairs, I think. Are you?
Yes.
Are you back in the same in that
I
bar?
think so.
Yeah. So there's conversation around. You know, was she in here last week getting rat faced, and was she with that bloke? I'm going to suggest that Sandra notices you as well. So I will add a point of heat to you. But I think at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest that we have a brief cutscene, which is someone leafing through some phone pics of you and Jacko in the bar. We see their hands, and they've just received, and they're flicking across, and then there's a bit of technical jiggery pokery, which then sees facial recognition running on these faces that Sandra has snapped in the pub. We never named it, did we? Let's call it the Crown and Anchor. The Crown and Anchor in the East End, and we see the facial recognition, and then bing, bing. And up scrolls, Kate, your face and your most recent contacts, including Dr. Jake Foley. I am going to spend a point of heat, and I am going to put Jake Foley in the wind. You don't know where Jake is. Okay. You have reduced your stress a bit. It's okay. Vera, you're currently on 3 stress. Do you want to seek relief again?
I am. So I'm. Let me roll this possibility by. So there's been someone who. So if I'm worried about the team, because like Jacko's behavior definitely worries me. Because yeah, that's not how professionalism works. Right, I'm worried the team is falling apart. So I'm not super good at sneaking, but I could. It was one of those things where I'm wondering if I could have a scene where I try to confront Sandra to find out who she's working for. Like I noticed that it's like, okay, you've been spying on one team member, and you've definitely had a conjugal visit with another one. So
okay, so you're going to confront Sandra.
Right. So I was looking to and I'm probably, I mean, this is I don't know if this is verbal abuse or beating someone up. I'm not sure it really matters. It could stray either way depending on the outcome of the roll.
Fine. Well, let's because yeah, if Sandra is indeed, and we think she is, an agent of the conspiracy, she may not just stand still while you're nasty to her, or unless she wants to maintain her cover. So right. Yeah, I'm very happy for you to reduce your stress by 1, roll a 6-sided dice for consequences, and we'll see which of the options kind of makes sense as you confront her round the back of the Crown and Anchor.
Right. Okay. Got it. So Oh, that's weird. All right.
On a 4. So
Darn it.
in either case, you're going to mark heat. So
Right.
I'll mark the heat up now.
Oh, I'd mark heat either whether I rolled a 4 or not.
No, whichever of those 2 moves this ends up
Yeah.
being.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
They mechanically work very similarly.
They do.
So
They do. I'd agree with the GM how the incident is noticed. In fact, I've just realised that I've altered them so they read exactly the same. Why am I keeping them as separate? That may well get in the next draft be just put together.
fair enough.
So what is it that leads the conspiracy beginning to put a name to your face?
Well, the very fact that I'm confronting her probably calls me out. I suspect that I might find something out, but I probably don't know for sure. And that uncertainty is why I don't like keep her there, so she's able to go and report.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm probably suspicious that something is wonky here.
Oh yeah, I think that's certainly the case because she reacts a little in rather too polished a way. You know, the cover is maintained pretty seamlessly, but too professionally.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend that heat. Did you reduce your stress? I can't remember.
I believe I did. I should be at 2.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you get a call maybe within the next 24 hours from your nephew's university, because presumably under some identity or on some phone, you are his next of kin.
Right. I mean, not my not the Vera phone, but the other phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The family phone. The family phone. And the university tells you, we need to let you know that your nephew Lars has not been to any lectures in the last couple of days, and we've checked in with some of his friends, and they say that he's not at the flat that they share either. So we just wanted to let you know that what they seem to think is that he's coming to see you. But we just want, that process says that we should let you know if we're not certain where he is. Is he with you?
Well, I'm assuming that I get a message. I'm assuming I don't get to actually ask them anything. It's like that. I imagine that the cinematic thing is, it's like, a voicemail message on a phone back in the safe house. So I'm not even there. It's just like, this is some administrative assistant at Oxford, just detailing this, and please call us back. Yada 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 yada.
Spot on. Yeah, no, I like that. Okay. So now Dr. Foley, young Lars Stelmacher, and Mrs. Edith Smithson are all in the wind. Is there anyone else who wants to come back and have another opportunity to seek relief from the horror? Or is that enough? Okay, let me ask, is there anyone who wants to spend any more intel to just concentrate on what you know and not what worries you and reduce stress that way? Or do you want to sit on some intel for a while? I'll take that silence as sitting on intel for a while.
Oh, I'm sitting on intel. Oh yeah.
I had a question about intel.
Go ahead.
Am I misremembering, or can I spend an intel to get my expertise back?
You can.
Okay, I'm gonna do that with mine.
Okay.
Oh no, never mind. I already spent it to reduce stress. I'm gonna sit there with my expertise being unavailable.
Waiting until stress goes up again or intel arrives.
Exactly.
Fingers crossed. Okay, then before we get to this final operation, I think, Jacko, you've got a couple of calls from your sister, or messages from your sister, saying she wasn't certain where your mother was. And the next message you get is, are you okay? I finally got a message from Mom, and she says that she's on her way to see you. The guys from the government came, they've picked her up. She didn't have time to tell me in advance. But they're taking her to see you. For God's sake, are you okay?
Oh, that's a message, or that's what I get, or
That's
talk.
the
She
message you
calls.
get.
Oh, I was like, yeah. I'm like, what the hell? The guy's from the government? Like, he's like, oh shit, I don't know. And so yeah, he's Jacko's, stressed out about his mom. He's like, God damn it, I shouldn't have gotten involved in this. Like, I don't want her to pay the price.
Fine. I have just spent a point of heat, and I have now labeled Edith Smithson as taken. I think I'll leave it at that for now. Edith's been in the wind long enough to be taken. Maybe before we finish today, both Jake and Lars will be taken, or Giovanni may accelerate in that direction. Who knows? Okay, so that's our downtime dealt with. Now we're into defining our final operation. So if you have a look at the Operation 4 tab, I've put down what I thought were the loose ends that still existed, which is Mr. Bentley is a demon and is up to something. That was why you went after the Sword of St. Bridget with its Arthurian iconography last time, because you wanted something that you could use against Mr. Bentley or any other demon for that matter. One of the questions you asked previously was what was behind the wedding that was in episode 2, and how was the politician Michael Smythe Jones involved, also from episode 2. So if those are your loose ends, let me start on the right-hand side of the character keeper with Vera. Vera, which of those leads do you want to follow up, or what kind of objective do you want to set?
I mean, it's always tempting to follow up on the Mr. Bentley thing immediately, but I think that it'll be more interesting if we don't. It seems a little contrived to have us going into this mission expecting this is the finale.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we've got a complete enough picture to go, aha, here's the end of the world plot. Here's how we stop. Here's how we're going to try to stop it.
Fine.
So I think that we're going into this as an intelligence gathering mission, but it's going to definitely go pear-shaped.
Quite possibly.
So I was thinking what was behind. So let's actually do the obvious lead on what was behind the wedding, since he sort of seemed to be orchestrating it.
Okay, so the politician is of interest because he seems to know something about the wedding. Let me work my way across. Kate, how as you discuss what you're going to do next in the safe house, how does Vera's suggestion go down with you?
I think that Kate, like as a person, I agree with Vera, but I think that Kate would rather go try and find Mr. Bentley, because I think for her, like what was behind the wedding could just come back to being him anyway. And at this point in life, it's more important to put an end to him now that we have the holy weapon than to chase down other investigations that may or may not actually involve us being able to stop him.
On the grounds that you could kill two birds with a stone, it could be that in finding out about our politician, you could then, between you, set the context around that to be him meeting somebody higher up the conspiracy.
That makes sense.
Which for reasons of dramatic necessity, is likely to be Mr. Bentley. Let's go along to Tony. Tony, what are you thinking in this discussion of where you go next?
Tony fully wants to see Vera or Jacko swing a large sword at Mr. Bentley. So whatever it takes to get to him, that's Tony's priority.
Okay, Jacko, how does that sound to you?
Yeah, Jacko is severely distracted because he kind of feels like, okay, I need to put this on pause to go after my mom. So he's all for, I'll say, taking out Bentley. You know, we need to put a quick end to this. Not that's necessarily the right idea, but that's where he is.
So I'm going to set the operational objective for this as take out Bentley. Okay. Now, on the way to that, let me go back around to Vera. Vera, what you're suggesting, I think, is that Michael Smythe Jones, the politician, might be the way into that. Am I right?
He's the only living person we know of who might know where Bentley is.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through this fairly swiftly and say who or what is the focus of this operation, at least at the start. It is the politician, a politician. Okay. Let's move my way along to Kate. Where do you want this operation to focus? So what about a location for this kind of confrontation?
Boy, there are so many.
Yeah, I mean,
options for
what
location.
I'm suggesting to some people is work your way down the entertainment event facility far away, or in fact, roll a couple of dice. See what they get you.
Okay, because we're going with the finale, I want to go with something like super cinematic. So I'm gonna go with on the move rooftops.
Oh,
So they're gonna have like a rooftop meeting that we're gonna interrupt,
okay.
presumably.
Okay, so fine. Just type that in because there's not a drop-down box for that. So where's the focus, the op? Rooftops, the rooftops of London. Wow. I'm hoping not to fall into any Mary Poppins tropes. Let's go now to Tony. Tony, what's the most likely, though probably not the only demonic conspiracy threat? Do you want to go all the way to the top?
All the way to the top, the greater demons.
So there is going to be a greater demon in play. Okay. And then let me come to Jacko last. If you go down to the demons, what is this demon or demons doing on the rooftops of London?
Let's see. Consuming sins of mortals. How about rewarding someone influential?
Okay. That were and I think we are making some assumptions about who that might be. So what I'm going to do for nothing is we're going to put Michael Smythe Jones. We're going to identify that politician because we know who we're talking about. Okay. So now then, let's have an investigative scene, frame some investigative scenes in which you can add some detail to this. Yeah. Either by asking me questions or by trading the questions in for just statements of what it'll be like. So let me go back around to Vera. Vera, which of these kind of aspects of the operation do you want to investigate? How do you frame it to make it, get the benefit of your expertise? Tell me.
I mean, I don't have my expertise available right now, so that's
well, yeah, I suppose it. I'm just saying, in terms of the cinema, we've got used to Vera as being our helicopter pilot and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So something that's appropriate to Vera. Then put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So okay, I'm missing something. Okay. Just in terms of what.
So, for instance, do we see you on a scooter following Michael Smythe Jones or his official car? Because he just became he's just been appointed as a relatively senior minister.
Oh, okay. Actually, probably I will be. Yeah, no, that sounds good. I'll be trailing him from his office, and to various meetings throughout the next few days.
Fine, fine. So let's have you roll to investigate. As you said, your expertise is unavailable to you, so you're just rolling the middle dice at the moment, unless you want to include the stress dice.
I will include the stress dice.
Go
the
ahead.
Stress die. Yep.
Okay, so the stress die is equal to or higher than the other roll, so stress will automatically go up by 1, but you do get to either ask me a question about the situation, so this could be a question about where does he go? Does that allow you to narrow down which rooftops? Take your pick. Or you could simply state something.
Yeah, actually, I'm wondering if, well, you know what, let's state something. So at one point he goes to a club, like one of the private clubs in London for the, one that he's probably been a member for a while, but seems like a little more higher status than a rural MP would normally be in.
Yeah.
And he comes out with a handful, he's got his assistant carrying like almost a box full of old books and papers, which look like they are, as well as some jars and such that all appear to be components to summon something.
Ooh, so there's a box full of old books and other I can't spell paraphernalia.
Right, and I can smell from it. I mean, I get a whiff of it, and it is definitely pungent and contains several, shall we say, botanical and natural substances, which are suspicious to say the least, and certainly have occult application.
I've just written brimstone ?
Oh, we're talking Hellsbane, right? I don't know. Yeah. Yes. So the kit and caboodle.
No, that works for me. That's fine. Okay, so that's your bit of additional information about the operation. Let's move along to Kate. Kate, how do we see you following up on this lead and fleshing out what's going on and where or with whom?
I think for Kate, it will be I feel like I want to find out where this meeting will be taking place. But also we just did Vera tailing him.
Well, I mean, what about trying to get some information out of his appointment secretary?
Yeah, okay, that sounds like a plan.
That's more a Kate-ish sort of approach, isn't it?
Yeah.
So because even though you don't have the expertise, you have that's the way you approach problems, isn't it?
Right.
So currently you are rolling without expertise, but I will always offer you the chance to include your stress dice,
which I will do.
Well,
stress goes up.
Look at that. Stress goes up, but you rolled a 6. So you get the basic information. What I'm going to give you is the basic information, I think, is that he over the couple of days before, between when Vera started following him, and then you having a phone call with his. How does that phone call go? I mean, hello, my name's Kate. I'm looking to slay a demon. What's the opening?
You said he was just appointed to a new position.
New minister,
so
yeah.
Go with like being a reporter and trying to kind of find some time on his schedule to do a piece about him, kind of thing.
Fine. I'm going to make him Minister for Culture media, and sport. And yes, he's got a number of appointments across this week that they would welcome some coverage. And she runs off a list of these locations. And so I will tell the basic information you need is that he's visiting a range of sports stadia, as well as the major broadcasters. Hang on, broadcasters and museums, because all of that fits into his brief. So he's doing the Natural History Museum, he'll be at the BBC, he's at Chelsea Football Club, he's getting to the National Library, the British Library, you know, a variety of stuff that falls within his brief, scattered across London. Yeah? So you get that one for nothing. Because you rolled a 6, you can either declare 2 things to be true, or you can ask me 2 questions.
Yeah, so first question will be, which location seems like the most likely for him to be up to something sinister?
Okay, what I'm going to tell you, I think, is that the most central location is Broadcasting House in the centre of London, the headquarters of the BBC. That appears to be the most central location. And also, it is probably where he's going to get the best coverage apart from anything else. Yeah? So there's one question. You can reserve the other one and come back to it as the others flesh out some stuff, or you can ask it now.
I'll hold on to the other one for the moment.
Okay. So let's move along to Tony. Tony, what are you interested in finding out? And how do we see Tony going about that?
Yeah, Tony is most interested in the greater demon. He has his own reasons for being here, as well as helping everyone. He's very interested in all this blasphemous unknown things going on. So his briefcase laptop is back out again. He has his own facsimile of the Voynich manuscript as well. He's reading through it all. He's trying to find any links to greater demons. He's even testing some of the methods, these strange methods he's finding of warding off demons or anything of the like. He's giving it all a go.
Okay, so that sounds like rolling with research.
Yeah.
You know, the dark web, all those crazies on the dark web, the conspiracy theorists. So that's with expertise. Would you like to include your stress dice?
I think this is stressful enough for him. Yeah, we'll go with it.
So all 3 dice.
Oh, I don't actually think the stress one rolled.
I don't think it moved. So
No.
We're looking at a 6 on the ordinary dice. So there you go. So
There we
that's the best of all possible worlds with no stress increase. Bridget is still with you, Tone. So on a 6, I'll give you the basics. I think the basics are that to summon a demon, you need a summoning, inverted commas, circle. Yeah.
Okay.
Now you could spend the two other answers, if you like. You could spend those to define something about the demon. Okay. So if you go to the Beasts tab, you know, Mr. Bentley, you could decide on a compulsion that compels Mr. Bentley, or once you've got a compulsion, you could come up with a deterrent, and so on. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Or you can find out more about summoning circles.
I think defining Mr. Bentley with it would be.
Okay. So if you have a look, you'll find that there's a range of compulsions for any demon. Addicted to mortal pain, obey a greater demon. Well, given that we're now kind of defining Bentley as a greater demon, he's probably near the top of the list. Pollute the works of God is something that they can't resist. Take the charismatic first, take the charismatic last, or tempt the victim first.
Oh, definitely tempt the victim first. Tony's going to struggle with this one.
Okay, so that's one of the things you can define. Do you want to define the other one now, or do you want me to come back to you?
Maybe come back in a sec. I'm looking at deterrence. Is it for the...
By all means, check out deterrence.
Great, thanks.
Let's move along then finally to Jacko. Jacko, how do we see you prepping despite your kind of preoccupation with where your mother is?
Yeah, Jacko is just doing some kick-ass ops stuff. You know, maybe they, somebody out of the corner of their mind might see him like scaling a building in downtown London. It would be something that like I'm thinking you might see some in some cult of some old, in the crypt of some old church, there's some sort of weird cult meeting. And as they walk away, Jacko kind of steps out of the shadows, right? And you definitely see Jacko like pop up with the manhole cover on his head, kind of thing.
Fine. And I suppose perhaps focusing on the various locations that we've got for our minister's itinerary. So,
Yeah.
so I think that's a combination of intrusion and surveillance. So you have expertise going for you. So you're rolling with expertise. Stress dice if you'd like to take that risk.
All right. Yep. Wait a second. All right, there we go. Oh, got a 2.
Okay, that's 2 1s and a 2 is just for our audience. That was what the groan was for. Happily, it's not 3 1s or stress would go up as well. So Jacko is very preoccupied by his mother, isn't he? So on an investigate, 1 to 3, you get the bare minimum amount of information you need to proceed.
Okay, well, basically he comes back and he's like, guys, I didn't find my mom.
Yes, your mother, you cannot find her at any of those locations. But what I will tell you is that, when you're on a map, maybe there's a map on the wall, okay? And you're kind of putting a push pin. I've looked there, I've looked there, I've looked there, I've looked there, I've looked there. And I'm wondering whether Tony looks up from his laptop where you're putting the pins in and says, just join those up. And what you find is that you have formed what amounts to a 5-pointed pentacle. I suppose all pentacles have 5 points now, I come to think about it. At the center of which is Broadcasting House. Yeah. So what I will add to the op.
And Jacko points to Vera and said, it's your fault I didn't do better.
So I'm going to put Broadcasting House is at the center of a pentacle formed by other locations he's visiting this week. Yeah? Hang on. There we go. So it looks like he's visiting, and he's visiting other places, but it's noticeable that when you've been to check out those locations, Jacko, certainly 5 of them form this star. I'm just trying to remember where Chelsea is. I think one of the I'm not a Chelsea supporter. One of the points of the pentacle is Chelsea Football Club. Let's go back around. I think, Kate, you have a question or a point to spend, if you like.
I do. Okay, so we've got the location. We know Michael Smythe Jones is going to be there. We strongly suspect summoning.
Look, if you think you've nailed down the briefing, you can also, of course, add a point of briefing by describing what you want to be seen doing that would be cool, and describing an obstacle or complication that would frame that. You could spend this benefit doing that.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. Let's have Kate get to break out her communication skills. I lost the tab. There it is. Describe an obstacle complication that would frame that. Yeah, so I feel like there's no possibility of convincing a demon not to do demon things. But maybe she can still get through to Michael Smythe Jones. Maybe try and flip him against the conspiracy.
Okay, so now look, this operation is going to take place on the rooftops where there's going to be a summoning, right?
Right.
But what I think what you're telling me is that you want to have a chance to convince the politician to stop whatever he's doing. Yeah. Is that fair?
Perfect.
So now we need everyone to respect the possibility of not killing the politician before Kate has a chance to talk him down. Okay.
Can you write that down for me? I might need a reminder.
Hang on. Jacko won't kill him immediately.
Oh, well, that was actually Jacko needs it. So, but anyway, yeah.
Okay. And I think I'm right in saying, Tony, you also have another point to spend.
Yeah, and sorry, just one quick rules thing came up there in the chat as well. Did those rolls for 6 that we had, did they bring intel and stress?
They gained intel
and possible stress.
And possibly stress. I'll come back and do Kate in a moment and then come to you.
Okay.
Oh, mine was a stress die. The 6 was on the stress die, so my stress already went up.
It's fine. So it's only Tony who ends up rolling for stress.
Sure.
But let's have you spend your because I'm curious if you're going to go for a deterrent, and if so, what it is.
Yeah, we'll keep the symbol of faith again on the deterrent.
Okay.
So we've a final slot open for the vulnerability again.
Well,
perhaps.
No, vulnerability, we know.
Perfect.
Everything that happened last time, you have a weapon of faith.
Perfect. Then that looks great.
Vulnerable to. Okay.
Great.
So that spends your last one. Let's go back to Kate. Kate, make sure you mark that intel for the 6. And then Tony, you mark that intel and then make a stress roll, please. I was so excited to flesh out the...
Oh, I got a 1 on the stress roll.
This guy is so cool. Is he actually a secret member of the conspiracy? I'm beginning to wonder. Okay, so we have our operation. This is going to take place on the rooftop of Broadcasting House at the center of a vast pentacle. I will tell you when it's going to occur. And it is just 5 to the hour, so I'm going to suggest that we take our first break. I need to make a cup of tea, so can we be back at 5 past the hour, please? Okay, I'll see you then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're back from our break, and as I was just saying offline, when is it a bad idea to kill a demon to top the BBC? So we know that something's going to go down. We believe that it's about summoning Mr. Bentley so he can reward someone. We're assuming it's to reward Michael Smythe Jones, recently appointed Minister of Culture, Media and Sport, at the centre of a vast pentangle covering much of central London. So that's the setup. I'm going to assume, I think, Vera, you've got eyes on, because you were following him on your scooter or motorbike or whatever. So right. I'm gonna assume that wherever Smythe Jones is, you've got eyes on as you've been following him, and the team are ready to go. But yes, he is attending a reception at Broadcasting House in the evening. So I'm going to assume it's dusk. And you, Vera, can confirm that the ministerial car has arrived at Broadcasting House, and the minister has been ushered indoors. Let's start with Jacko. Jacko, where is Jacko when we cut to him?
Okay, so yeah, I would say Jacko. Well, I kind of like the idea of Jacko and Vera flying around a plane or a helicopter.
Well, I think the only challenge with that is that requires Vera to also spend the opening scenes in a helicopter.
I see. So
Or
yeah,
is this just another ploy to spend time with Vera? Vera,
yeah,
you know, are
yeah.
you? Of course, Jocko, you can always call on a contact.
Yeah, let's do that. So Vera
Yeah.
can do her own thing. Yeah.
Okay. So let's have. Unless Vera, you were planning to be in a helicopter. Because I just
no, actually, I feel like central London, or I guess this is wherever this is. I mean, this is a built-up part of London. Flying any kind of aircraft, even like the drone that's doing the delivery isn't even in the air, because this is exactly like, I mean, it's not quite Washington D.C. post 9/11, but it's pretty much, you don't fly an aircraft without a lot of people scrutinizing you.
and yeah, I mean, but you know, Jocko knows a guy. So Jocko, that sounds like
Okay.
you want to go with a driver, yeah, as your contact. Who's your contact? Who
Well,
is
what I'm
he, she,
yeah,
they?
we'll say is it could be that he knows somebody in a news organization, so that their helicopters can fly around or observe stuff, and yeah.
Look, I don't know if the BBC has a helipad on the top of Broadcasting House,
Right.
but they do now.
Oh, right.
So
Awesome.
you're in a BBC News helicopter with someone that you met covering Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I like it.
What's
Awesome.
their name?
Oh, Edwin.
Edwin. Fine. You'll find him down.
Edwin, but Jacko calls him Chopper.
Okay. Okay. So Chopper. So put Chopper in and tell us their pronouns. And they are a driver. So what that means is that the team has got a helicopter on site with Jocko in it. And there in lights on top of the helipad is BBC. Okay, so let's move along to Tony. Tony, where do we see Tony as our operation opens?
I'm really sorry. I thoroughly apologize. I missed the very start of the explanation as to where we are at the moment.
Sorry. So Michael Smythe Jones has just arrived at the BBC,
right,
where his itinerary says he's attending a reception in the Director General's suite at the top of the building.
I see.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So Vera, because we know that she was following, says, okay, he's in. So he has arrived and been ushered into the BBC. We have Jocko with Chopper in a BBC News helicopter above central London. Where are you, Tony, when we open?
Sure. If we're going with contacts, Tony might try a contact as well, and we'll go.
Let me remind Jocko that calling on a contact costs you a stress. Did I mention that?
What? Chopper doesn't stress out Jocko. He should lose his stress for hanging out with Chopper.
So Tony, with that, calling on a contact, simply mark a stress and define a contact if you want one.
Yeah, I think Tony would like another criminal contact from the London area to come over with him to try and break into either a building adjacent to it and enter from another rooftop, or straight into the BBC.
Fine. Oh well, let's have you break into another another location.
No, I think that's perfect.
Yeah. So that would mean that you are selecting, I guess, a black bagger as your expertise of your contact. Yeah.
Perfect.
And what are they called?
This one is called, who have we got so far? We've got Bernie, Janice, and Sam.
Sam. Okay, so Sam. So yeah, do you want this to be a building that's higher than the BBC, so you can be looking down on it, and you know,
Yeah.
introduce the option for zip wires, or you tell me.
No, I think that sounds perfect. A
Okay.
building overlooking the BBC.
So I think we cut to you clambering in to this. Let's say that it's an office skyscraper in development. And therefore I'm seeing, you know, all these kind of concrete pillars, but no windows, no office furniture. And we've got Sam there, you know, with a nylon rope, just helping you clamber up the side of this building. And he's got through all the security. And he says, right, Tony, you're set. And he points at a kind of bag on the ground. He says, you might need that, but job done, I'm off. So he's got you in, and he has given you what you might need to get into the BBC.
Perfect.
If you need to get in there as well. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Kate. Kate, where do we first see Kate?
Kate is in disguise, already inside the BBC. I'm imagining that she has like a new employee, you know, kind of badge to excuse her potentially getting lost.
Fine. So I think for that one, I will want you to maintain your cover, just to see how that goes. So you're rolling with expertise, because that whole disguise thing is just so you. Stress dice if you want it.
Yeah, I'll throw that in. Why not? Stress goes up.
Look at that. But it's a 6. 4+ your cover holds, and you don't attract any unwanted attention. But on a 6, also mark intel. As you discover more about the war you're waging. Scary, isn't it? Roll. What just scares you a little bit, Kate?
I think it would have to be that there are other people in the BBC who are in on what's happening. So they know what's going to be going on the roof.
So as somebody, you know, as you're approaching maybe one of those central glass elevators, and you notice that there's kind of Director General's suite is the top floor, and you press that button, and somebody beside you says, I don't think you're invited to that, are you? Maybe you should get out at this floor.
Well, I got a 6, right? So I can say sure, I'm totally invited.
Okay.
I know exactly where I'm going.
Exactly. So your benefit is that you convince someone that you can get to the reception. Yeah. So, and you won't be asked any more ID questions, because you're going to tag along with this bloke, who doesn't, you know, you expect a certain kind of person at BBC, and this person does not fit what you were expecting. In what way do they not fit what you were expecting, Kate?
Oh, so I'm thinking that usually, you know, you expect people that work there to be like on, you know, the nerdier side. And this dude is built like Jacko.
Aha. Yes. So there is someone built like Jacko. And he says, my name's Steve. So Steve, who is a big bloke, is convinced that you are supposed to be there, and up you go. So fine, we see Kate, and because this is a cinematic representation, the Director General's suite of the BBC looks rather like a Bond villain lair. So the lift opens into this palatial open space. There's a lot of marble. There are people in cocktail dresses and very smart suits milling around. There are people with trays who are offering drinks and hors d'oeuvres and canapes. It's all very, 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 very nice. And there's a vast, big candelabra in the middle of this kind of atrium space with steps that go up around the atrium. Yeah. And so Kate is describing all that. When we get to Vera, where are you when we see you?
So after having watched Bentley get in, or sorry, not Bentley, sorry, Michael's, or yeah,
Smythe.
Smith
Let's
Jones,
call him Smythe.
Smythe Jones, yes. After seeing him go in, I would have gone to my backup cover, which is, or not my backup, my infiltration cover, which is, I have bribed a cleaning woman for her kit, basically. So
Okay.
I'm going in, and I can pull off being, I could probably pull off being a Polish cleaning woman pretty easily. Possibly better than anyone else in the group. So I'm going to come in that way because that is the least likely person to be noticed.
Fine. Do you want it to be a cleaning woman, or do you want it to be one of the serving staff at the DG's reception?
Oh, see, my goal was to get close to the roof.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
So I mean, I can be near the reception, but I was gonna I was gonna try to see what else was going on in the building while the reception is going on.
Fine, that's okay.
So-
Well, then I think that this is about making this cleaning woman an offer she can't refuse, really.
Mhm.
So I think this sounds like negotiation
Yep,
to obtain a cover and get in using it.
I will use stress. And
Go
I'll give
ahead.
a roll. Okay. There we go.
Oh, look at
Okay.
that. A 6, and it's not on the stress dice. So so on a 6, this goes perfectly. Yeah. So how brilliantly does this go, Vera?
It's not just a cleaning woman. I find a cleaning woman who looks a lot like me. So I can use her ID badge and everything. And honestly, nobody except the other cleaners are going to even know that I'm not her.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, it's just like it's yeah, it's like it's the perfect cover, as it were.
But what she says to you is, but you're not allowed to go to Annex B. Okay, none of us are allowed in Annex B. So you know, if you go in there, I lose my job. Okay, so steer clear of Annex B. And suddenly you're thinking, well, what's going on in Annex B? Mark intel and roll for stress, please, Vera.
Okay, I'm got the stress roll going right now.
Oh, will you look at that? Stress has gone up.
Yes.
How are
Of
we
course.
doing? Okay, maybe I should go around and remind you, you can always try to insert an opportunity to seek relief from the horror, remember? Okay. Tempted, Vera?
I could establish why Jacko is not Vera's type.
Yes, go on, because
So-
what we'll have seen on screen so far is him kind of saying, can I have a word, Vera? And then maybe him coming away a little bit crestfallen. So maybe you could fill in some detail of what you
Oh
told
no,
him.
I
don't know.
was going to suggest that I have a fling with the cleaning lady.
Oh, right. Okay. So not just any cleaning lady. This is this is how you got to know her. Fine. So fling away, reduce stress by 1, roll a d6, and let's see what the consequences are.
Got it.
2, 1 to 3. Your partner sees through your empty affection, and you are ashamed. You cannot use your expertise until stress goes up again. But stress went down by 1, so what the heck?
Right.
Yeah, so I think that probably, you know, she goes away thinking the only reason Vera slept with me was so that she could borrow my ID. And all that stuff about her wanting to get into the BBC on some kind of, you know, it's going to be in one of the tabloid newspapers about the corruption. That's all a load of bollocks. And but I fell for it. Oh, I always fall for it.
Yeah, it's the I'm gonna feel bad because Well, I mean, because I'm taking advantage, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so so there we are then. So we have Vera in one of those tabards. It's after hours. I mean, the BBC is open 24 hours a day, but it'll be quieter through most of the floors. So we got Vera with one of those kind of buckets on wheels and a mop and a bunch of cleaning materials, making her way through the corridors of power. We have Kate looking. Kate, I mean, how are you? Were you dressed as a trainee, or were you dressed for a party? Was this always the intention?
I don't think I knew it was going to be a party. So
Okay,
I
so
think I'm probably dressed like I work there. So I'm
professionally
imagining
dressed.
like, professional looking.
Fine, fine. And with glasses, because everybody at the BBC wears glasses.
Exactly.
And Tony, we have you looking down into the Director General's suite, I will suggest. You can see it's 2 floors high. You can see this vast circular chandelier. You can see the helipad to one side on the roof. Great. Okay. And Jacko, you see a similar view from slightly higher up. Okay. Let's go round then to Vera. Vera, what are you're wandering about? Well, wandering about. You're working your way through the BBC. What do you want to do?
Right. Well, I'm trying to see if there's anything going on outside of the reception right now. If there are some of Smythe Jones's agents who are moving things up to the roof, that kind of thing. Is that started yet, or is this?
Okay. That sounds like rolling to investigate to me.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
What does I know your expertise doesn't count.
It can't be used. I mean, it would be like, this is probably tradecraft or surveillance, which I don't have.
Okay.
So
you're just being nosy.
Yeah, well, I'm not always being quite where I should be. But yeah, I mean, I'm just the cleaning lady there. So
yeah, I mean, I think you could pull the author, but I'm with the cleaning
company.
True.
Yeah, I can pull. Okay, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Don't mess
whether
with
I pull
me.
the
I'm with the
authority
cleaning
or not.
company.
Right. It's like, look, I mean, I got to clean this place. If I don't clean it, they knock my pay. Yeah. But that's patter more than authority almost.
It is. Okay, so you're rolling without expertise, but you can
mm-hmm.
of course include the stress dice if you want to.
And I am. So here we go.
Vera driving it like a stolen car. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is the worst possible result. A pair of 1s. So yes. The 1 on the stress die is equal to or higher than, so stress goes up automatically. And you get the bare minimum amount of information you need to proceed, but also mark heat. Because mm-hmm. what you find yourself doing, Vera, is that you come up to there's a service elevator, yeah, which mm-hmm. is the only way into Annex B. But when you approach the service elevator and you try I'm with the cleaning company, there are 2 burly men on the elevator that says, no, not today. No, I don't care. Fuck your job. You're not getting into Annex B. Okay. That's forget you were ever anywhere near Annex B. Now fuck off. So not the nice commissionaires at the front of the BBC. A very different spirit of security is at work on Annex B tonight. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And as you turn around and says, yeah, no, just a cleaning lady. No, still secure here. Okay. Hence the heat goes up. So, Jacko, it's all quiet so far, apart from something about Annex B. What do you want to do, Jacko? Do you want to just, keep circling with Chopper?
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is Annex B, is on the rooftop as well. That it's.
Annex B certainly is the back bit of the BBC, right?
Okay.
And so it also goes up to the top floor.
Yep. Gotcha.
And who knows, there may be a connection between it and the DG's suite. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what do you what do we
Yeah.
what do you do?
Jacko is hey guys, I'm gonna check on this Annex B. And so yeah, he's gonna have Chopper. What I'm thinking is, yeah, let's just get Jacko right on Annex B. Like
You don't want to have a
he'll
look first. You want to roll to investigate to see whether you can see anything from the air?
I mean, you know, as a personal favor to you, sure.
Okay, so surveillance is absolutely. So you know you've got the oh, I should have asked, folks. Let me ask now. I didn't. I'm assuming, Kate, that you are lightly loaded because you're undercover.
Yep.
Vera, you could be medium loaded because you've got, you know, your cleaning materials, your trolley, if
Right.
you wanted to be medium loaded.
I think I will be with that obstacle overcoming thing. I'm assuming I can bring in equipment that is not normally part of my load too. So
We'll see where that takes us. Yeah.
oh, okay, got it, understood.
And Tony, do you want to be light, medium, or heavy? You know, you're kind of out of sight at the moment. You could have any level of equipment you wanted.
Tony might be geared up to go here in full heavy.
Okay. Full tactical harness and gear. Fine.
Yeah.
You could always drop stuff. You know, there's no disadvantage of being that until you start having to escape and somebody chases you down. And Jocko, what about you? Again,
can Jacko be heavy loaded and jump out of a helicopter?
Yeah, it just means he falls slightly faster for a little while.
Okay, excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jocko, are you using binoculars and all that stuff, optics, to get a look at the roof from a distance, or do you want Chopper to buzz the rooftop?
Well, no, he'll use the binoculars kind of thing.
Fine.
I mean, he's going to jump out of the helicopter onto the rooftop eventually. So.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
So okay,
then roll to investigate. The binoculars give you fictional positioning and a 4 on stress. So stress goes up by 1. You can see people coming out of the kind of service elevator on the roof of Annex B, and they are carrying stuff up onto the helipad beside the DG's offices. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they're setting something up, a structure up there. Okay. Who knows what's happening at the other at the 5 points of the pentacle, but that's what's happening at the center. Yeah. I'll come back to you in a moment. Kate, you're at the reception. What do you want to be doing at the reception?
I think getting a sense of sort of who else is there, and seeing like what I can gather about information about like what people think is going to happen, like what they're actually gathered for, without giving away that I have very little information about it.
Of course, and without giving away why you are there.
Right.
So yeah, let's have, who do you approach? You know, if we there's no one as junior as you, I'll tell you that for nothing. You know, there's nobody wandering around with a trainee badge.
Right.
They're either middle or senior leadership, or other members of the kind of glitterati.
Yeah, let's go for someone more mid-level, because then if they ask too many questions, I can just blame one of the seniors for inviting me. Whereas if I go to them first, then there's nowhere to go but up.
Okay, so let's have you roll to investigate. I think your disguise and everything about it gives you expertise if you have access to it, and the stress dice is yours to use or abuse.
Yes, I will use the stress die. I got a 4.
Okay, so I think for nothing, I will tell you that a couple of the middle managers are a bit surprised to be here. You know, normally this kind of crowd is, you know, heads of department and all the way up to the top. But I wasn't going to turn it down. And yeah, we don't know. We think the minister's going to make some kind of announcement. I don't know about the license fee or the future of the BBC. I don't know. But that's what the whisper is, that he's going to make some kind of announcement.
Interesting.
Do you now? That's the basic. You can get to ask me a question.
Okay, here's the question. Do any of them have pins like at the wedding?
Oh, good spot. That's an act of genius. Yes. You notice pins belonging to both sides of the wedding again. So whatever fracture happened before or after the wedding, it looks like everyone's being very friendly. And whereas at the wedding reception they were distinctly separate, you can see them talking together. Yeah. And now you come to look, some of them, because I think Jacko spotted something in the insignia of some of those squaddies that you encountered last time, not the SAS, the squaddies. And some of these guys look a little bit uncomfortable in a suit. So it does look like there are some people here who are not the glitterati, and they're standing awkwardly around the place. Okay, is that okay for a setup?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, Tony, you're observing from your skyscraper in development.
Yep.
And you too can see what Jacko sees, which is people bringing stuff up onto the helipad, and then they're going up some access steps to the roof directly above the Director General's suite.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that for nothing. What do you want to do, if anything?
Yeah, so this is a bit odd, but let's see what you think of it. Tony's brought some morphine with him, and he is going to, before he goes in, take a shot of morphine and ring up another contact, Fingers, to see if he can get Fingers to break him into the cams.
Okay. So let's have you numb your pain with drugs before you start then. So reduce stress by 1, and then roll a d6 to see what the consequences are.
That's a 4.
4+. Mark heat and agree with the GM if this is because you alienate someone important to the operation, overlook a crucial deadline or event that puts the operation at risk, or sell something that's important to the operation to pay your dealer, saying which operator you steal it from, and they have 1 less equipment box available than they thought.
Right. I'm open to thoughts. Any thoughts yourself?
Anyone want to have a nasty surprise when they go into their backpack and discover, shit?
Yeah, I feel like Tony probably robbed me.
Okay. So would you just on the character sheet, Vera, would you just fill in the last of your available gear slots, that 5th one for your medium load, and whatever it was that's in there that you reserved the space for, Tony skipped off with it. Okay.
Yep. Nope. Got it. Okay.
Sorry.
If you were really sorry, you wouldn't have done it.
No, Sean is sorry. Tony's no remorse.
No. Yes, it's all good.
Oh yeah, this is always character on character. I never like the idea of PvP, but I'm quite happy with PC v PC.
Yeah.
So fine. So now you were looking on. I think you were another contact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're stocking them up. You can spend a point of stress to invoke. It sounds like you want a hacker.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about this hacker. They can crack systems for you.
Yeah, Fingers is a long time known guy who is just great at getting into anywhere we need him to get into. So we're used to calling on him.
Fine. So that gives you fictional positioning. In effect, it allows you to hack the BBC.
Okay,
right?
perfect.
So you can hack the BBC with fingers expertise. Let's see how that goes. Do you want to include the stress dice or not?
Let's see where I'm at. Sure, let's go for it.
Oh, will you look at that? There's a 5 and it's on the stress dice. So stress automatically goes up by 1. But yeah, that goes well. Finger says, okay, Tone, you should get them on your phone now. And an app on your phone pops, a series of little postage stamp size images of the various internal security cameras at the BBC, through which you can scroll and select whichever one you want.
Perfect.
So you can see what's going on anywhere in the BBC. Yeah. And because it's the BBC, you get sound as well. What do you want to what are you looking for particularly, or is this just a precautionary observation, Tony?
At the moment, most precautionary, but eyes are mostly towards if he can get anywhere near Annex B, since that's come up in the comms a few times now.
Yes, it has. Yeah. Let's have you roll to investigate Annex B. Eyes inside. And then I might come back to Vera and see whether Vera wants to do anything rather more serious about Annex B.
What do I roll for that? Sorry.
So you have the cameras, so I'm going to give you expertise.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, you have fictional positioning. Larceny. I'm going to let you case Annex B. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have expertise, stress dice if you want it. Roll to investigate. You can ask me some questions about it.
Oh no, 2 ones.
Oh, so on a 1, you get the basic information. Okay. Vera described our friend, the politician, the minister, bringing this box out of this rather select London club. And on the floor in Annex B, you can see a box with a number of books and a number of other items in it. And that's the point which someone picks it up and heads up to the roof with it. Okay?
Perfect.
That's the basic information, I think, but you get to ask me nothing else.
Perfect.
Vera, Tony's given you that insight into what's going on inside Annex B. What, if anything, do we see you doing?
Okay, I am thinking that one of us is going to need to get into Annex B soon. I'm not sure if there's any quiet way to do that, at least available to me. But I'm considering just look at the gear options here. So there's no quiet, yeah, right. There's those 2 guards. Is there more security than that?
Let me be clear. The gear is not limited. If there's something else you think
right, okay,
do the job, talk to me.
Right. I'm just thinking that we're going to have to so you said the service elevator is the only way to get into Annex B?
Certainly from that floor.
Okay.
If you want to go down to the ground floor and have a conversation with one of the nice commissionaires in uniform at the front, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think it's probably worth yeah, I think it's probably worth trying another approach. So yeah, I will attempt to talk to some of them.
Okay, so I think that this is, are you using I'm a member of the cleaning company authority, or are you going for negotiation? In which case I want to know what you're offering.
Yeah, I think so what I'm gonna probably try to do is you know what? Okay, so this is where I'm gonna probably it is painful to spend stress when, you know, the only time it can, well, all right. I'm gonna try to can I really do that? I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull a contact in. I have too high of a stress level.
I think that's a risk at the minute.
Yeah. So I am going to I'm assuming that there is like money is an option. I'm assuming I could have like a I don't necessarily want to, since I've already done negotiation where which is lean towards the sexual, I don't kind of want to like try to do a hookup or hook the the commissioner there with like one of the other cleaning staff or something.
Well, I tell you what, I'm very happy for
Yeah.
you to browbeat a commissioner with your
With
need
authority?
to clean. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I could, because I'm willing to try to pull that off. So
Yeah, fine. So
the-
let's have you secretly from the horror using a chance to bully this poor commissioner into giving you access to Annex B. And depending on how well that goes, we may or may not need another roll from you.
Okay. So I am going to roll with stress because.
Well, no, if you're using this as an opportunity to seek relief from the horror with a byproduct of getting into Annex B, I'm very happy for you to reduce your stress by 1 and roll a d6 for consequences.
Oh, so this is the verbally abuse or bully somebody. Oh, okay. Oh, that's fun then. All right. So
it just fits with what you were thinking of doing, I think.
Right. Okay, so I will roll the relief from stress, relief from horror. I have a 5.
There you go. So on a 5, they are an NPC. Mark Heat and agree how the incident is noticed. I think that that he lets you into Annex B. Okay, but I'm going to mark Heat on the basis that he then rings his supervisor and says, "Those cleaners are getting above themselves. I've just had one of them give me a mouthful and then get into Annex B." And the supervisor says, "Didn't you know Annex B's off limits today?" He says, "Nobody told me." Yeah, so heat has gone up. We are now, there is somebody about to pursue you guys. And shortly there may be an attack squad on the way. But I just had a thought. I think I don't want to complicate this any more than that. I'm going to spend 2 stress and I am going to...
Your 2 heat, you mean?
2 heat, sorry. I'm going to, and I'm going to take Jake Foley, taken off the street somewhere. And I'm also going to take Lars Stelmacher. And just for completeness, I'm going to spend another 2 heat to, at a stroke, find Giovanni and take him. So all 4 anchors are now taken. They are mine to do what I will. So Vera, you're in Annex B, okay?
Yes.
And what I'm imagining is you contact Jacko and say, "Okay, I'm in at the ground floor. Where are you, Jacko? Jacko, where are you?"
I'm still in the helicopter, itching to jump out. The only thing that's keeping him in is like, okay, all right, we don't want to, expose ourselves too early. So he's. One thing I will say is we do have a bunch of intel.
You do.
So I don't have any, but amongst us all we have 6. So so Jacko sees them kind of building something on the roof of this guy's office on the top of Annex B.
Yeah.
Vera is on the ground floor. Tony's shooting up. Yeah, Tony's shooting up morphine, hacking into the comms on, another vantage point. and Kate is at the reception. All right, and Jacko's like, he's kind of fired up because his mom, right? He you know, and he feels himself wanting to act too early, and he has enough military bearing not to follow that. And so he's like, "Hey, folks, we got to do something about this. What's our plan? Vera, are you making your way to the top?"
Working on it.
All right, I'll hold on here and keep Tony. What are the comms? You hear anything?
Yeah, ready to zip wire in, intercept that box. We'll give the go when all ready.
All right. Should we wait till Vera? We hear more from Vera, and then we all come in together at the top.
I'm on your lead.
Kate, you're hearing all this in your invisible earbud. Are you tempted to do anything before that happens?
No. Just waiting for I don't know, probably getting in a a solid position.
Yeah.
Just as a precaution, I'm assuming we probably have distributed back out those pins.
Oh yeah, but yeah, let's
probably everyone has one in their pocket somewhere.
Everyone has one of the demonic empowered pins. Yeah, good, well remembered.
What could go wrong? So yeah, I think amongst the team, at least Jacko would say, is once Vera's up there, Jacko, Tony, we all swoop in.
So Kate, you're kind of just observing, trying to be unobtrusive, not attract any attention from these rather burly blokes bursting out of their suits, collar's too tight. And you see the minister and the director general come out of whatever private office exists back there, and they're deep in conversation, and they're led across to the they're under the big kind of candelabra that's electrical light fitting, vast thing hanging in the middle of this atrium. And you notice two of these kind of goons are shepherding someone towards them. Yeah. The Director General is introducing the minister. No, the minister is introducing the Director General to a little old lady. Yeah. Have you ever seen Jocko's mum or a picture of her?
I don't think there's any reason that I would have seen her in person. Jacko, do you carry a picture with her that you may have showed me?
Yeah. Let's say that.
Because you have
Kate
been on
and
ops,
Kate,
haven't you?
Exactly. We have a more history together. So,
yeah.
It's Jocko's mum.
Jacko.
Yeah, I'm here.
So's your mom.
Wait, what? What? Get her out of there. Get her out of there, Kate.
It's kind of a lot of people in here. Might be tough.
That's too good a place not to have a commercial break. We're at 10 to the hour. Let's take a slightly early break. Back at 5-2. Okay, see you then. Okay. Gosh, time has flown. We are back from our final break.
All right.
So Jocko's mum is at the reception. It is clear that Michael Smythe-Jones, the minister, appears to know her or is treating her as though he knows her, Kate, and is saying to the DG, you read the lips. Oh, Director General, this is Mrs. Smithson. Okay, so that's what's up. Jocko, you know that. Everyone knows that. Yeah.
Yeah. Jacko says, Kate, get my mom out of there.
Tony, they were carrying stuff up onto the roof above the DG's suite, and you can see that they appear to be arranging some stuff in what looks like 5 points above the DG suite. So it's almost like a little pentacle inside a big pentacle. Yeah. Vera, you're inside Annex B, working your way up, I think. You come to a door, and you can see that there's some kind of outside broadcast being run from inside this room. What do you want to do?
As in, like, there's filming literally going on in there.
It looks like it's a kind of a producer's control room, if you like, with a number of different screens, and each of the screens is showing a portion of the London night skyline. Looks like it's coming in live, and there appear to be some people on each of the 5 screens.
Okay. So I was thinking, and how feasible would it be for me to get a drone into that room? Well, actually, you know what? Jacko's about to go ballistic, so maybe we don't need to stay quiet anymore.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Jacko goes ballistic if Kate doesn't get his mom out of there.
Okay.
And that's not necessarily a threat. It's just, you know.
No, sure. I
It's
don't
gonna
think
happen.
it's
Yeah.
definitely going to happen, because I don't think Kate's in a position to get the mother out of there. There were way too many eyes.
So Vera, you know what the situation is. You know Jacko well enough to know that the clock is now ticking. What are you going to do, Vera?
I see. I'm gonna open the door and just make as though I am starting to clean that room and attempt to observe what I can observe.
Okay.
And if they bother me, I will reply.
Okay. So Vera goes into the room. Kate.
In
Oh, Vera, I think you might have chopped in and chopped out then.
Yeah, it says
Yeah,
you're muted.
Tell us the last thing you said.
yeah, it seems to be okay. Oh, that I go into the room. Yeah.
Okay.
And if they try to talk to me, I will Polish back at them, because I probably know a little bit of Polish.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, the Forest Service works across borders. Kate,
It does.
As you are in the reception, the Director General has just tapped his wine glass and called for attention. He says, and shortly the Minister's going to make a very important announcement, and we're going to be covering stuff live, and out of the ceiling slide down 5 really big screens that all of you now can look up at. So the Minister, the Director General, and Jacko's mum are in the middle of the room. People have spread back so they can look up at the screens that kind of surround them. All 5 screens showing London rooftops with people. We'll worry about who's there in a moment. Tony, you're listening to all this. Do you want to do anything?
Yeah, Tony's gonna say to Jacko, Jacko, I know I love your mum, but I think things are about to get even worse. They're about to summon a demon. I think it's go time.
And that's when Kate and Vera, who are looking at different screens showing the same views, and possibly Tony, who will at least pick some of this up on the CCTV, you see that each of those, 3 of the 5 screens are showing someone you know. Kate, Dr. Foley is on a London rooftop. He's above Chelsea FC. Vera, your nephew, is looking slightly confused and worried on the rooftop of the British Library. Tony, you can see on the rooftop of the Natural History Museum your partner Giovanni. And they appear to be being held by 2 large blokes. And presumably someone's filming this. And you can see the DG is kind of, looking up and is slightly confused about what's going on. But Mom and he and the minister in the middle of the room. Kate.
Are there
go on, Vera.
there people on the other two screens that we don't recognize?
Yes. Other innocent
Okay.
bystanders. And
Right.
and just to make it clear, I have invoked my complication, risk to bystanders. It doesn't matter how they ended up here. You have to decide whether to keep them out of harm's way, and if so, how. Okay? So everyone now has skin in the game. Kate, your husband is on one of those screens. What do you do?
And no one else on my team can see the screens right now, right?
Tony can see the CCTV coverage of it. Vera can see it because she's in the control room that is piping those views in. Only Jacko doesn't have a direct view, but everyone's told him his mum's in there, so that's,
Gotcha. I was going to say that I wasn't going to tell everyone that their loved ones are in danger elsewhere because I don't want them to leave.
Okay, so we know that you would risk anything, just about, don't we?
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, hey, if we're gonna do this, we got to do it now. Like things are happening.
And the light, the chandelier light, is beginning to flicker, and then the lights in the DG's suite go out. Jacko, what do you do?
All right. Jacko is going to berate Kate.
Can I make one?
Go. Yeah, go Vera.
Sorry, something was bugging me. So to be clear, since I took loss, that probably means that Rudy is also available.
Yes,
and has been since the beginning.
Oh, thank you for the reminder. That removes one entirely innocent bystander from the firing line. So yeah, Rudy and Lars are on different rooftops. Oh my God. Your brother Rudy is on the top of Big Ben.
All right. Yeah. So Jacko's gonna lay into Kate to reduce stress.
Go for it.
As he's jumping out of the helicopter.
We'll worry about where he's trying to land shortly.
Yeah.
But reduce stress by 1, roll a d6 as you berate, verbally abuse, bully, or shame Kate.
Kate, we do what we do to protect people like my mom. Don't forget that.
Roll that dice.
A 5.
On a 5+, and they are operator, your words hit them really hard. Kate, you roll for stress.
All right. Let's see how bad this goes. Kate's stress goes up. She got a 6.
Kate is feeling a little bit strained. Now, Kate, you did set up an opportunity. You wanted to set up to convince the politician to stop what he's doing. So Jacko is in motion. The window for a quiet solution is shrinking fast, Kate. What are you going to do?
Oh, there are so many people here. Yeah, I mean, if everything's going to go off in a minute, I might as well give it a shot. So Kate, trying to tear her eyes away from the screen where her husband is, kind of forces herself to walk up, and she's gonna do her best to implore them. Look, you don't have to do this. There's still time to call this off.
And so the lights have gone out in here, and you've got illumination from ambient light from the London skyline. So everything's outlined in that kind of silvery light, that actinic glow, and you go up to the minister and you implore him. The two burly guys have got Mom between them. The DG, it must be said, is looking confused. And so what exactly do you say to Michael Smythe Jones?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna be like, look, Bentley is using you. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about any of these people. He's a demon, for God's sakes. You shouldn't be helping him. It's only gonna hurt you in the end.
And the DG is now looking very confused, as Michael, in this dim light, might be susceptible to your silver tongue, Kate. Roll to persuade him.
I'm definitely gonna use stress.
Oh, will you?
Double sixes.
If only 2 6s was worth more than 1 6.
If only.
So on a 6, this goes brilliantly. I mean, how brilliantly does this go, Kate?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Can he like radio the people on the roofs and tell them like abort? Let everyone go. Yeah, abort.
And the color drains out of his face as the lights come back up, and he says, "Oh my God, what have I done?" And he looks to the 2 burly men and says, "Let her go, let her go." And I think you can have Mum back. Okay, Mom is now a free mover in the DG's suite. But you rolled a 6. Gain 1 intel. His eyes go from your face and they focus over your shoulder. And the color drains out of his face and his eyes go wide. He says, "Oh my God. Is it too late?" What do you do, Kate?
Turn and look at what he's looking at.
Mr. Bentley, would you roll for stress, please, Kate?
Of course, it's him. Should have brought the sword. 4.
We haven't.
So
Don't worry. I have a plan.
We have deliberately not specified where the sword is. It must be said. Okay,
well,
Jacko.
I'm certainly not carrying it. I tied, so stress goes up, right?
Yeah. I know. Sorry, it has to be higher than.
Has to be higher
when you roll for stress. Jacko, you had already left from the plane, the helicopter.
Yeah.
So where is your targeted point of arrival?
Yeah. So this, I assume, is this reception is not in Annex B.
No, it's adjacent to.
Yeah. So no, he's jumping on the top of Annex B.
Okay.
And he's like, "Tony, it's go time.
Tony,
pull the needle out of your vein and let's go."
Let me just be clear, Jacko, okay? Annex B was where the preparations were going on and where this broadcast is being coordinated from.
Yeah.
The roof of the Director General's suite is where there's been a miniature pentagram set up.
That's where he's going.
That's where you're going. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Tony, where's your estimated point of arrival?
Same place, hopefully.
Okay. So Tony, you have in effect expertise to zip wire across there because that's what your contact set you up to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's have you roll with expertise to arrive on that roof.
Okay. Am I able to spend intel to reduce stress during operation?
You can. I think what it says is during operation, if your stress is 4 or more, you can spend intel to reduce it.
Okay, we will go with a stress roll then, because I know I can reduce it if things
it goes
get real
horribly
dicey.
wrong.
Yeah. That's a 5.
Oh, that's a 5. So that's perfect. You know, it's not quite the 3-point superhero landing, but you certainly arrive, you know, at a jog across that rooftop. Jacko, let's see how it goes for you. I will count fieldcraft or intrusion as expertise for this.
Mm-hmm. He'll roll stress. 4.
So stress goes up by 1. Jacko?
Jacko's not really kicking ass today.
Well,
there's still time.
He has been very distracted, hasn't he?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But that lands you, you know, how does that look? Does Tony come in from
Yeah.
one side, you come in from the other side?
I'm thinking maybe we come in parallel, right?
Oh,
We come and like he's running, he's running, he lands on it, keeps running. Jacko comes, rolls, gets right back up, running next to him.
And there are 5 goons
Yeah.
guarding this pentacle on the rooftop. I'm going to go to Jocko first because he has the training for it. What do you do, Jocko?
Yeah, he is gonna light these guys up.
Okay.
Let's see. I originally was planning to have one in like the biggest gun I could find, but now I think we're in kind of closer quarters, right? So I don't think it's as. So what gun? Assault rifle? I guess.
Assault rifle would work.
All right,
Or
let's
a
do it.
Compact submachine gun.
Compact SMG.
Oh yeah, compact submachine gun.
You know, one of those that straps neatly across the front of your tactical harness.
Yeah. So he's
Roll.
gonna light them out.
Let's have you confront the conspiracy and its pawns, Jocko.
All right. And I get to roll expertise, right?
You do, because you have small arms.
It's the continental breakfast of
Man,
automatic
5
weapons.
stress goes up again.
Would you roll the top failure dice, please, just on the off chance that they take a shot at you as well? No, they don't.
No.
They are surprised by your arrival out of the darkness. But yeah, your stress goes up, but I'm going to let you take 2 of them down on landing, okay? Tony,
right.
What about you?
Tony's coming in. He looks at Jacko and is very much surprised to find that he has the larger gun in an assault rifle.
Okay, so
it's how you use it. It's how you use it, Tony.
Let's go with that. Confront the conspiracy. Then you have expertise as long as it's available to you. Stress die if you want it,
Okay,
and the top failure dice.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 6, but a 6 on the stress.
Damn.
That. So
Oh my
6 is on the
God.
stress dice. Stress automatically goes up by 1. So does intel. Because this is the real thing, Tony. This is no shit shooting people.
Yep.
But you take down the other 3
Okay.
with 3 perfect. Vera, you are seeing this happen live on one of the screens.
Right. So, well, one of the questions I have is, I just came in here and started cleaning.
Yeah.
Is anybody here giving me any flack?
Well, there's a kind of just not now. Yeah, this is fantastic. Go to 3. Go to 3. Zoom from 4. Go. They think it's some kind of drama. Is the immediate sense you get.
So these folks have no idea what's actually going on.
That's certainly
As
not
far
the way,
as
unless
right.
they're really, really crazy.
Okay. Well, what I'm trying to figure out is, are these duped bystanders, or are these cultists?
I think they're duped bystanders.
Okay. So I'm not going to just leave a grenade there, but what I will do, what I will do is as I'm going to call on Tony for help through the comms. I'm going, okay, I'm looking at the control room. What do I do here to kill their comms?
Technical, I think, Tony.
Yeah. Maybe I can help you out. Yeah, I'll give my best as I'm trying to.
So I figured that lets us both roll, but we risk getting heat.
I think that's fair. Fair. So
can I spend an intel to reduce stress by 1?
You can.
Okay.
Remember, if you're during operation, if your stress reaches 4, you can start spending intel to drop it.
Okay.
Just to keep your head above water. So Tony, let's have you roll technical to see if you can provide the expertise that Vera wants and needs.
Okay.
Right. I'm assuming that I'm going to have to do something moderately violent in order to, destructive at least.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to let you mess with their panel without something.
I mean, so the point is, if I have to pull out a gun and shoot the right panel, then that's what I will do.
Okay.
And if I have to use a knife, or you know, if I have to use a sledgehammer or
Let's
something,
worry
I
about
will.
what you might have to do
Right.
when you do it. So,
Okay.
so
Well, no,
Tony,
I'm trying to figure out if I need what I need to roll.
Okay, well, we'll come to that in a moment because
Okay, got it.
Tony,
All right.
you've rolled a 6. That is a perfect success. Yeah. So I'm inclined to say you don't even need to have to roll, Vera, because his instructions are so precise on a 6 that you know exactly which panel you need to take out. All I need to ask you is how you do it.
You know what? I pull up the mop bucket, and I pull up a large thing of cleaning fluid, and then I spill it all over that panel.
Yeah, we'll go for that. Then let's have you roll to see whether that just goes terribly badly or not.
Okay. And I guess I can't roll expertise on that, or
yeah, I mean, it's a physical task, hand to hand.
Sure. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, it's worth a
Accurate
roll.
pouring. Right.
Yeah, it's a
Okay,
well-known
got it.
spy skill.
Okay. I will in fact roll for the stress die in, because this is a stressful situation.
Okay. Oh, and that's a 5. So that's fine. And you know, how does it look? You know, what do we see? What, we've not spent much of the special effects budget. What do we
Right.
see?
Oh, it's so what it is it's you know, I guess it's probably the panel that is like the main electrical panel.
Mhm.
And I pour this, you know, ammonia cleaning solution onto there, and the panel just starts to spark, and then there's this cascade of like sparks and, you know, LCDs just, you know, flaring up and shutting down, and you know, smoke coming from everywhere, and everybody in the room is like, and, you know, running out because of all the smoke first, and I'm calling after them in Polish.
Oh, such dedication to cover. That woman you slept with is never going to work again. I fear, at least not the BBC.
It was probably for the best that she doesn't work for these people.
So let's cut back inside. Kate, there is Mr. Bentley. And Mr. Bentley looks at you and says, this is terribly inconvenient. Are you sure you really, really want to get in the way of this, Kate?
Oh, is he going to do the hypnotism thing?
I think he is about to display the fact that Mr. Bentley tempts a victim first. I could make it very much worth your while to simply step aside while I kill this nice gentleman and that nice lady that you've managed to get clear.
Well, no. See, that one's my friend's mom, so I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
Well, then what about him and him, pointing at the politician and the director general? Come, Kate.
But
eternal life, everything you ever wanted. We're really in 3 wishes country here, Kate. While you think about that, let's cut back to Jacko and Tony on the roof. What's the next objective? Jacko.
Yes. Jacko is going to try to reduce some stress by remind an operator you care most about or least about a fresh piece of history. And
go on.
And basically Jacko is going to, you know, talk to Vera how he, you know, essentially, you know, they're not going to get along, right? There's something they're not going to get along, but he respects her and they can, you know, grudgingly work together and kick ass.
Fine. I like that. So reduce stress by 1 and roll a d6.
I feel like I'm kind of offering up, you know, Vera for the stress sacrifice, but, you know, that was a 5.
Okay, so Vera, they roll for stress as it all goes to shit. What do you mean it's my fault? Agree with them why they feel so hurt by what you've reminded them of, or Vera, you choose to bring your anchor up in conversation. Sadly, your anchor is already taken there, no longer available to you. So your only option is to roll for stress, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I rolled just high enough to gain stress.
Oh, good. That's fine then. That's so one off Jacko, one on Vera.
So Jacko is still trying to like, yeah, these two are never going to get along. Like Jacko, even, no matter what he does, it's just, yeah, he just shouldn't say anything.
Tony, what about
Right.
you?
Hearing Bentley's there, Tony's like, "Come on, Jacko, let's get Bentley."
And there's a on this, beside this rooftop, there's an emergency exit, which presumably leads down inside the DG suite. Is that the way in?
Sounds perfect.
It may require intrusion, though, Jacko.
All right, let's do it.
Now, for intrusion, you have to have brought your breaking and entering kit.
Would a grenade work? I'm just thinking breaking and entering seems a little too subtle
low
for
key,
now.
Low key.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just. Oh.
Okay, fine. I've just added a couple of grenades to your list, and you're about to just put one on the emergency handle, hang it there, pull the pin, and bang, you're in. I'm not going to make you roll for that. That's too much fun. So inside Kate, you hear a kind of poof up top. Vera, you're still in Annex B. Where do you want to head at this point?
So right now, I'm aware. Okay. So from what I've been hearing, Mr. Bentley is downstairs.
Mr. Bentley is next door, technically.
Next door.
Behind that wall.
Behind that wall. Okay.
Or maybe beyond that emergency exit.
Okay, so the point is I could get to the reception room pretty easily.
Yes.
Okay.
The
I have
rule
another
of
question.
dramatic necessity requires that to be true.
Is the reception room, is there a large open window in or a large glass window in the reception?
I'm going to say the front of Broadcasting House is curved, so I think there is a single large curved window around 180 or 270 degrees.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to barrel over into the reception room.
Okay, through the emergency exit, into behind some drapes in the DG's office suite. So Kate, you were thinking about it. That's bought the team some time, but now, Mr. Bentley, I really do need an answer, Kate.
Yeah, I mean, do I have to do a roll to resist, or
no.
then I'm just gonna tell him no.
Okay.
No, thank you.
And Tony, that's when because I think thing goes off. You're very keen to get there. I know that. So Tony, you head down through this emergency exit and come in at the top of this kind of mezzanine with these steps coming down around the outside of the suite, followed by Jacko. Jacko, you could. What do you do when you get in sight of the crowd of people?
Yeah. So mom's safe, or mom's
mom is in that room somewhere with what we know are two different demonic cults.
Yeah. He's gonna look for mom.
Okay. Roll to investigate, Jacko. Surveillance will give you expertise.
Well, I get a 6, but stress goes up.
There she is. Stress goes up automatically. You gain a point of intel, though, so you could spend that intel immediately to knock stress down.
There she is, right with Mr. Bentley.
We'll do that. Yeah.
And Mr. Bentley looks past you, Kate. Tony, what do you do? We know what Jacko did when he burst in. What do you do?
I think Tony is clutching his rosary beads again, and he's looking at Mr. Bentley. And he
Isn't that
wants.
strange? Because Mr. Bentley is looking at you. And I'm
Yes.
going to invoke my second GM obstacle, which is it's a setup. Everything you've learned was fed to get you here.
Yes.
And he looks at you and says, "Hello, Tony. I was hoping you'd come."
Yeah.
Vera, you are behind a drape on the edge of the of this reception space.
Right. So at this point, I am thinking of pulling off my maneuver.
Fine.
I've adjusted the trajectory because I was originally aiming for the roof, but I'm going to say that hidden in the bushes in the curved center, in the curved courtyard middle of the broadcast center, a drone lifts up carrying a package and charges through the window
Okay.
over into the middle of the room.
I'm not going to ask what's in that package, but I will come back to you a moment as we see the drone lift off and
Yes.
you with a little kind of hand
Yep.
controller. You will need to select the drone, surveillance drone, I think it's called, from the
Got it.
gear list, and hope that controller isn't what Tony stole. Kate, you can see it. Bentley is showing no interest in you now at all. He is focused on Tony. Jacko, you can see your mum. She's over there, but you can see people converging on her. What do you do, Jacko?
Yeah, he's like, I'm going after my mom, and I'll sync back up with you all. Tony, keep praying, Tony.
So Jacko, she's kind of 15 feet down over there. What do we see you do?
Yeah. He's like, get down, Mom. And then he starts, as he runs towards her, firing.
Running down these curved stairs. Because it now becomes apparent that these are the stairs that they use to model Strictly Ballroom. Strictly Come Dancing down either side.
Okay.
And you're running down there, firing into the crowd as your mother, being well trained, dives to the ground. Okay.
Yes.
So I don't think you're trying to kill people here. I think you're just trying to get their heads down. So let's have you roll to confront the conspiracy and its pawns, with the object of them not getting in the way.
So I could use fieldcraft or
Small arms. You're fine.
small arms.
Shooting
Okay,
things.
cool.
You're just and I tell you what, as you're doing, the windows on that side of the room shatter.
Yeah.
They're blown out. How convenient for a drone.
I get a 3.
On a 3. So on a 3, you fail or succeed at a cost. The cost is that you're out of ammo. You just fire wildly in the panic of getting to your mum, but you do get to your mum if you want to.
Yeah, he gets there.
Okay, so you're standing by your mother. Yeah, but you've just realized, the clip is empty. And people are getting up around you. Yeah.
Stay down! Stay down!
Kate.
I want to usher Michael and the DG to go with the mother and Jacko to try and get them out of here.
Get them over there. Fine. Kate, I think that Michael is petrified what he's done. The DG, there's gunfire. There was an explosion upstairs. His windows just blew out. He'll go wherever you send him or take him. Do you take him or send him?
Since Bentley isn't looking at me anymore, I'll take him over.
Okay, so you're making your way over because everyone's facing Jacko, so you can get anywhere in the room really. Over there's a whole cluster of people who aren't wearing any badges, including the guy who doesn't normally get invited to this kind of thing, cowering on the other side. They're banging on the lift, trying to get the lift doors to open. So do you want to be with them, or do you want to stay with the DG and the politician behind those drapes over there, or do you want to do something else?
I'll get the. I just want to make sure that the DG and politician can get over to the rest of the group safely.
Fine.
But I don't need to go like with the entire group.
And as soon as they get there, the minister is saying, let me through. Do you know who I am? Trying to get to the lift first.
Of course he is.
Jacko, you're defending your mother. Tony, you've locked eyes with Mr. Bentley. Vera, what are you planning to do as we see this drone? And we probably look from the top up, so we've got no idea what the package is.
Oh yeah, very much so. So the drone, in the midst of all this noise and chaos, the drone, creeps into the room. And I'm assuming this is a big room. So there's, so it's up towards the ceiling. And what Mr. Bentley is locked eyes with Tony. Right.
Yep.
So the way I would describe this is the sword of Damocles.
Okay. So using your downward facing camera, Tony, are you getting close to Mr. Bentley?
Yeah, I think Tony is like creeping towards Mr. Bentley in his internal struggle that's going on here.
So you come down the stairs, and his eyes are just, Tony, I'm so glad you've come. I think there are things that I can offer you, even more than I offered Kate, but I know that somehow I feel you may be more receptive to my suggestions. Come a little closer, Tony. And you notice that Mr. Bentley, as it's almost like he's salivating, but the way his urge to tempt you displays is that he's physically kind of, oh, come closer. Kate, you're adjacent, or as adjacent as you want to be. Do you want to do anything as Tony approaches Mr. Bentley?
Does Tony look like he's being swayed?
I think that Tony is walking towards Mr. Bentley. For the audience, there is no way to know.
I feel like I trust Tony. I want to have my gun just to make sure that none of the cultists are going to interfere with with what's about to happen.
Yeah, let's cut to Jacko and the cultists, because that's when they rush you, Jacko. What do you do? A dozen cultists. Whoa!
Okay. Yeah. Well, can I get can we say I got my mom out of here?
I think that your mother is safe behind you at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And maybe she's sneaking away behind the drapes to get to that lift.
Well, Jacko, in an ideal world, Jacko would snap Tony out of this, would attack Bentley. That's what he wants. So can he get to Bentley through the cultists? That's what he's attempting to do.
Let's have him roll to confront the conspiracy with the success looking like just bowling them out of the way.
And I assume that would be a failure die.
I think you need to roll a failure die because you might get hurt on the way. In fact, 2 failure die because there's quite a lot of them.
What? 2? Okay. You saw how Jacko's been rolling. Come on now.
Well, hopefully they'll be just as low.
Okay, there we go. And we'll say he has a handgun on him.
Yeah.
That he pulls out.
That's fine.
Let's see what we get. All right, 5. I think stress goes up.
Stress does go up to 5. But that is success. So, a couple of warning shots and they cower and they're knocked out of the way. Yeah. As you barrel
clothesline one of them though. I clothesline one.
Okay. As you barrel, do you barrel towards Bentley or Tony?
Yeah, I'm gonna barrel towards Bentley. And for some reason, Jacko only, fisticuffs with Bentley. So he's going to run and try to like tackle him to the ground in the hopes that Tony will snap out of it and will finally use the friggin' sword.
Okay, Vera, this is what is happening. In slow motion, we see Jacko leaping for Bentley. Tony's eyes are on Bentley as Bentley's skin begins to be torn apart from the inside by something. What do you do, Vera?
Oh, I dropped the sword of Damocles. I
Okay.
just hit the button and the sword drops.
Okay, so let's have you confront the conspiracy with a drone. So it's drive gives you expertise as you try to line it up.
Oh, I'm going to use stress. So
Go
here's
for it.
open. Rolling 3 dice. Maybe I'll get above a 2.
Oh, well, you got a 4 on the stress dice. Stress goes up by 1. But that is a success. You have hit Bentley with this sword. Yeah. You have not killed him. He still has, it will take a number of successes to actually kill him, but the sword does inflict harm on him. And this thing comes down. And what does it look like when it hits him, Vera?
So I think what happens is it comes down, and if it had been Bentley had just been a human, it would have literally gone like down the back of his head into his spine. But as it is, it gashed the back of the demon form that is erupting from him, but it is impaling the husk of human form, Mr. Bentley.
Fine. So this vaguely insectile thing that is crawling out of the inside of Bentley is kind of sloughing off the skin, but it has taken some harm. And I guess, Jacko, as you roll in to tackle him, you see the sword come down. It thuds into the ground, having kind of scored the carapace of this thing. And there's a slight kind of sense of hellfire leaking out from the wound. Because I am now going to invoke a power for Mr. Bentley, which is a chitinous skin. So it has hard exoskeleton. And then you hit it. Jacko, roll to confront the conspiracy and its pawns. Are you looking to kind of shoot it? And is this gun fu, or are you looking to bring the demon down?
Well, it's now it's a demon. Can I grab the sword?
Oh, well, you said you were going to wrestle him, so I just need to know what effect you want. Depending on how this goes, you may or may not get to pick up the sword at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's kind of, and he's going.
Yeah. No, I was trying to knock him over so that Tony will snap to it.
Fine, go for it.
So what do I roll? How many dice here?
You're rolling with expertise, stress dice if you want it, if you dare risk it. But you do have to roll with 2 failure dice.
I'm rolling stress. Oh! I finally roll a 6.
You did.
And I roll a 6 on the failure dice too.
What a load of 6s. Because the stress dice is higher than or equal to, you will gain an intel and gain a stress. What would you like to do with that intel, Jacko?
Okay. If I can reduce my stress again, I'm all for that. Although I would say, does that make it kind of weird? If I always roll a 6 and I can gain an intel and not gain a stress?
Well, only when you're on a 5-6 boundary. That's the only time it really is.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So you're still on 5. You get no intel, but I guess what you've learned is this thing can be hurt. Tony, it was about to use the mesmeric gaze as these chromatic eyes, insect-like eyes, were beginning to focus on you as it crawled out of Bentley. But Jacko has distracted it. What do you want to do, Tony?
I would love to frame this as follows, and I'm fine mechanically however this works. So Tony thinks on all of his problems in this world as a gay man in a very stereotypical Catholic town that he grew up in, and how he had to flee the IRA eventually from the Camorra and all the struggles this has created for him. And as a result, he has all these temptations of this otherworldly knowledge and to kind of leave this world to some extent to find something new. But he feels some more grounded in terms of all the display that his team is putting on at the moment. And he thinks back to the time when he was in the church and he expelled the imps, and he tries to channel that same energy here to pick up the sword and, yeah, pick up the sword and his rosary and...
Rosary one hand and reach for the sword.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have you apply that deterrent. Well, all that requires is, be gone, foul creature of the night.
Yeah.
What that does is to reduce the risk. So it'll be one less failure dice for this round.
Okay.
So that, Bentley, you present the rosary, and Bentley is the demon that Jacko has wrestled to the ground, kind of cowers away from it, creating an opportunity not for you yet.
Yep.
But for Kate or Vera or Jacko.
Perfect.
Kate, is there anything you want to do?
Yeah, I want to attack him as well. I was looking to see. So there's nothing on the equipment list that constitutes a holy weapon.
No, there isn't.
Which I assume is intentional.
Yes, there's holy weapons need to be found as per last week.
Right. Okay.
There is a symbol of faith. So which can act as a deterrent, because the way deterrent works is it makes them flinch for one round. Yeah. Now Tony has made him flinch, creating an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
If you go at it with him, it's like kind of, he flinches that way, he sees you, he flinches the other way. So you can build up a bit of effect.
I was going to say, let's do that and try and get him into a corner where he can't flee or open portals to hell or any of that kind of stuff.
Or if he does, Jacko goes with him. So fine. So you present this item, and he will flinch again. So Vera, you also had an opportunity to do something. You're on the edge of the room over there. There's quite a lot of chaos between you and the action.
So I reach for my gun, find out that Tony sold my gun, and that I therefore have no weapons anymore.
Oh, yeah. That's brilliant. And you still have a drone.
I still have a drone, but it's a surveillance drone that no longer has anything attached to it. So.
That is true. Of course, you could call on a contact to have fixed a small handgun to it, but I'm not sure you've got that option open to you, have you?
No, I do not, because that would put me at 6 stress. So. Mm-hmm.
So.
You could spend intel to drop the stress.
You could
and do that, right?
Right, but I'm bookkeeping. I need 2 intel for the end of session. So.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's the state of play. You're thinking about shit. Is there nothing I can do?
I mean, in the moment, the dramatic beat is I reach for my gun. It's not there.
Oh shit.
Well, it's in the bag that's in the cleaning box. Right. It's like I brought the bag because it had the controller, and I look in there and the gun is gone.
Oh no. And flashback, Tony saying, "Well, I've got a gun."
Right, because Tony assumed that Vera has the sword. She doesn't need the gun, her gun too,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. She won't miss that. Jacko, what do you do with the opportunity that Kate has presented?
Yeah, I mean, he picks up the sword and attempts to use it on Mr. Bentley.
I am inclined to reveal something else about the vulnerability of Mr. Bentley. It's not in the list yet, but it's called Precise Strike. It is the only way to get an instant kill in the current version of the rules. And this means that if you use something that is vulnerable to, you could try to behead it, strike out the diamond at its heart, whatever it is. Yeah. So I'm going to give you the option on Precise Strike on the Bentley Demon.
Okay.
The trouble is that you need to succeed brilliantly in order to succeed. Okay. You know those 6s you rolled last time? You need another handful of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, So if I roll the stress dice, if I get a 6, my stress goes up.
Yeah.
But I always get intel?
Only if you roll a 6.
No, but what I'm thinking is how do I
If your
stress out?
if your stress is the highest die you roll, even if it's not a 6, stress goes up.
Be done so.
Oh no, but the stress is okay.
Yeah, if you roll a 6, but it's not on the stress die, then you actually won't gain stress. You'll just gain intel,
Right.
but you will have a stress roll as well.
Well, so
from
how
your
does my
intel gain.
stress go to 6 and my guy die?
Okay.
I guess
So-
that's what I'm curious.
So if you decide to do something now, use the stress die. Okay.
Yeah.
If that stress die is the highest, whether it's a 6 or not, if it's just the highest,
Oh,
it'll go
gotcha.
up.
Gotcha.
Yeah?
Ah, yes.
The
Gotcha.
benefit of the
Okay.
6 is that you will get intel at the same time, which will give you somewhere to,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
But what is now true is that your mom is no longer taken,
Oh, so now I
and
can.
she is no longer in the wind because you can see her over there.
Okay.
So you could invoke your mother.
Yeah. We'll invoke the mom.
Okay.
Don't tell her, but
No, because when you next look up, you can't see her again.
gotcha. All right.
Okay. What do you do?
Yeah, he's gonna pick up the sword and go for Bentley.
Okay, let's do that thing. You are rolling. Hang on, is there anything else I want to do for Bentley? No, I'm going to leave him where he is. He has great strength and kind of skin. The deterrent from Kate will reduce those 3 to 2 failure dice in the moment.
Excellent.
They'll be back up to 3 next time.
All right, let's see what we get. Oh!
5 on a stress dice. Stress goes up. It is not a brilliant success, so you do not behead the Bentley demon, but you do hurt it.
Well, I mean, but he rolled a 6.
Oh, he rolled a... Oh, so he did.
Yeah, he rolled a 6.
Oh, goodness. Yes, sorry. Well spotted. So when he rolls a 6, you roll a d6 for consequences.
All right. I'll roll the orange die.
High would be good.
Well, actually, I ended up rolling the pink, but it's a 4.
A 4. 4 plus. You were lucky this time. It hurts, but you'll live.
Okay.
So one of his many legs kind of scratches across your chest, causing you some distress and concern, but no real harm. Tony.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Tony's up for, if he can like get a pass off from Jacko of the sword, he'll go for the same.
Do you want Jacko? Do you want to throw the sword to Tony so Tony could use it? I'm prepared to have that happen. It's so unlikely.
Well, how about I'm thinking Jacko swings, he slips, the sword falls out of his hands and slides towards Tony's feet.
Okay, Tony, let's have you roll with expertise. You're rolling all 3 failure dice now. All 3 risk dice at the top there. Stress die if you want it.
See what happens. Oh, I got a 6.
You got a 6, and it's not on the stress die. So, what does that look like, Tony? What is that? Because it's on the floor at your feet.
I think it's fully. Tony picks it up and he's still clutching the rosary beads in the hand, and with the other hand just straight through.
Bentley the demon, it carves down the middle. The 2 halves of Bentley fall apart and burst into hellfire. And the lights come back on.
Okay.
There is chaos. There are cultists heading up the steps to get to the roof. The lift, thank God, has finally opened, and BBC employees are fighting to get into the lift. Kate, what, if anything, do you want to do in these final scenes?
I think Kate's priority is making sure that none of the cultists get out on the lift.
Okay, yes.
I want them all rounded up.
Fine. So any of them that don't escape to the roof in an attempt, I don't know where, they're going to try and run away across the rooftops of London. that anybody with a pin who isn't one of you is against the wall. Yeah, just held against the wall, Kate, or is the temptation to just, you know, just the
There's definitely a temptation, but I think Kate's hoping. Well, so first of all, they also potentially still have her husband, but also she's hoping to learn more about the conspiracy because she thinks
Fine.
Bentley is probably not
Fine.
the only.
Fine, and that's the kind of thing she used to do when she was with the company. That's not what you do once you.
That's
leave the
true.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jacko, you look around. Your mother's gone.
Yeah.
She's in the wind.
Yeah. Jacko runs off looking for his mom.
Fine.
And I'm thinking that's the last that this group sees of him for a while.
Well,
right?
I am wondering whether we are getting into epilogue country, I have to say.
Yeah.
So Vera, what is the last we see of Vera in this season finale?
So you said that there's a bunch of I think that there's a bunch of cultists trying to make it up some stairs.
There are
that are presumably not guarded by one of us right now.
Exactly not. Yeah.
I'm going to be rushing out up there ahead, and then with a bottle of cleaning fluid, particularly like the kind of stuff that what's it, oil soap. And I'm going to dump it down on the stairs behind me. And then I'm going to make my exit. I need to call some people because I have intel and I have it earmarked for something.
Fine. And I think I know what that's going to be. Tony, you just dispatched a demon.
Yeah.
How do we epilogue Tony out of this?
I think we epilogue Tony of kind of standing there in shock for a sec and then realizing that he has to get snapped back into this, and he calls up Giovanni and he says that they need to escape this life they've had in this criminal organization and to meet him in Poland when in a few weeks when they can kind of lay low a bit and meet back up together there.
I'm going to remove taken from each of them because I think when this goes sideways, whatever thugs have them, they are no longer in the hands of the conspiracy.
Right, and we can spend intel to pull them back into safety.
You can. And so I'm assuming that what we see, Vera, is you contacting someone that involves you using that intel to not just bring Lars back off that rooftop, but also to take him off the list.
Well, it's more like I'm going to try to save Rudy too.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'd forgotten Rudy's on the other roof, isn't he?
That's why I need two. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, the way this works then is
Yes.
that both of them remain on the conspiracy target list.
Right.
But by spending 2 intel, you know where they are, and they are reasonably safe.
Yeah, and I'm going to probably invoke Lewin to help me clear up the trail a little bit so that they're
Fine.
at least so that they're not trivial to locate, but they're going to have to be in hiding. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. So yeah, a scene where you and Lewin are kind of ushering them into this not very great flat somewhere. And there are 2 passports, new passports sitting on the table, maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
Brilliant. Kate, how do we epilogue you out of this series?
So we're doing like full epilogues.
I think we probably are at this point.
Yeah, perfect. So Kate's is going to be reuniting with Jake and having to tell him everything because she's told him nothing so far. And actually bringing him into the resistance. So Jake would be joining them next season.
Okay, so that you've got 2 intel. We'll get rid of In the Wind and even remove him from the target list because he gets the same kind of secret identity that you now have.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes. Mild-mannered biologist.
Yeah, I'm
by
not sure he'll
day.
be super useful to the team, but he's there now.
Actually, I know a vampire conspiracy group that really needs someone who understands how to make a vampire. And we know that, Tony, where do we see you and Giovanni as we begin to close out?
Yeah, when we eventually meet back up, we're in like a disguise in Poland, because we're both completely not meant to have left the Camorra. You're meant to be there for life, and we are kind of living in fear to some extent from then on. But we've moved on.
You think you got out, and they suck you back in.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's finish with Jacko then. Jacko, your mother, she was there, then she's gone. What do we see? I mean, is this the opening of the next spin-off series, Jacko, the fugitive?
Yes, I think what we'll do is, he's gone for his mom. Like, the team kind of disbands. We go our separate ways. And I think Jacko, maybe he is kind of just gets rougher and rougher away from his Navy SEALs training. So I'm thinking of, like, what was it in Endgame when Hawkeye becomes like the killer with, kind of goes hardcore. Maybe not that hardcore, but that's where
Pretty hardcore.
That's the feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I can't answer if he finds his mom or not, but I think, I don't know how many years later he gets a text, we'll say from Kate, and she says, like, I need you back.
I'm getting the band back together.
Yeah, exactly.
Vera, what is the last we see of you? We know that you've made them as safe as you can. Right. But what happens to Vera?
I imagine that they're actually in a cabin in the wilderness somewhere.
Oh yes, of course they are.
Because that seems more thematically appropriate.
Yeah.
So I'm actually back in London. I feel guilty about that poor cleaning lady that I one night standed, getting the fallout from this whole mess. So I think that I'm knocking on her apartment door, and she opens it, and that's where we should cut for Vera.
Yeah, very good. Okay, I think that is our series then. What cracking finishes. That was really cool, folks. Let's do a quick stars and wishes. Well, I suppose roses and thorns, actually, when I think about it. As we've brought down one arm of the demonic conspiracy. So let's start. Greg, roses and thorns?
Yeah, awesome. I would say on this session, I mean, I always appreciated the build-up, but there was always a part of me of like, oh wait, this is a lot of build-up, and I think this time it kind of clicked for me. I totally saw the build-up and the execution just kind of all meld into one. So that was pretty awesome. No, I love Vera's. I thought Vera's ending was an awesome way to go. I've very much appreciated the twist of Tony with the kind of religious background and then this morphine thing. It was a twist on the character, but I thought it worked. Those sorts of things all come out at the worst time, and I thought that was perfect. I liked Kate, bringing her husband into the, as that she had this secret, and that kind of mended their relationship, which was cool. So and I don't know, Jacko just was not on his best today. And I think he kind of, I think that actually kind of fits the story. Everyone else has this happy ending, and Jacko is still unfulfilled, right?
Yes.
So
Jacko was looking for this to make the difference. All that stuff happened with the SEALs, didn't really happen. Now I can make it good, and yet. Yeah, no, spot on. Any thorns?
No, I wish I understood the stress thing at the end. I was like, wait. I think what it was is I thought you had to roll higher than your stress, which got me confused. So, okay. But any thorns?
I need to explain that better in the text, I have to say.
Yeah, I think, and I've had that confusion with Cthulhu Dark. You know what I mean? I think I think the one, it's not really a thorn, but it's more of just, only Vera used the set up your own obstacle kind of thing.
I know, so
Or,
did Kate,
Oh no, I
Okay,
used mine.
did?
Yeah,
Okay, cool, awesome.
and it
Yeah,
worked.
it did.
yeah, I still need to get my head around that, which isn't necessarily a thorn. It's just a highlight of, is this a mechanic that's, I don't know how often people use it, and
Yeah,
that
you're
sort of
right.
thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
it usually takes a little while before people twig that the more they set up, the
Yeah.
fewer I throw at them.
Yeah. And so, not that it's I think it could be good, right? Or I mean, I'm sure it is good. It's just it would be for the text. How do you ease people in to make them comfortable and
Yeah.
lead them to leverage that?
Exactly.
So,
Thanks for that. Moving along, Sean, Roses and Thorns?
Yeah, that was fantastic. Thanks, everyone. For Alan, that was really well put together. I loved bringing in everyone's anchors in the end there on the 5 different sites. Well, one person, I guess, was a bystander who was they were very unlucky. But
Yeah, they're the one that actually didn't make it out.
yeah, a poor person. Other than that, then for Michael with Kate, I really liked how you got to display Kate's real side to her this time, as opposed to last session, to infiltrate and talk down the politician and all that kind of stuff was great. I loved it. For Jacko, I think, yeah, in a strange way, maybe it was slightly fitting that Jacko bringing his mother into this so early ended up to come around and bite him. Yeah, to be honest. And then for Vera, I really liked the when you got in as the cleaner and kind of stuck with the cleaning theme throughout it. So that was great.
Yes, I have in my hand a 9mm cleaning spray.
Yes, exactly.
The name's Vera
Yeah.
Stelmacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, spot on. Michael, any Roses and Thorns?
Yeah, I thought I thought the game overall was super great. All 4 sessions, fantastic. I really liked how everyone's conclusions with their character felt really fitting. I loved Jacko getting like progressively more, I want to say deranged, but unhinged. And kind of going off and becoming Ronin, like that's perfect. Getting to know Tony more in this one, and his kind of bittersweet ending, and then also like the kind of payoff with Vera, where she's like, "No, Jacko, like I don't want you," and then she ends up with going for the cleaning lady is just perfect. I don't think I have any thorns. There were a couple things that came out throughout the 4 sessions that we kind of tweaked, especially around like the leads stuff, that I think is a lot smoother now. I at least like still have some kind of trouble with the briefing stuff, but I also don't necessarily have ideas on how to smooth it out. I just kind of have trouble like figuring out like how to tie things together.
Yeah,
or what's useful information.
And I think that I guess we're ending up that it will end up with 3 modes of play. One, entirely no prep, so the table creates. And I think what I might, because I know some people have real pressure when you say, "Ask me a question."
Yeah.
And that's, so I think what it might do is to say the table, maybe the table can get round that. The second mode of play would be the GM's done the prep beforehand, so they know the answers and you don't have to create anything, you just ask the questions. And then the third one is, well, there's this Night's Black Agents mission that
right
we can turn into this. So yeah, I think it needs to be sensitive about that.
Yeah, I think having like the if there are I don't want to say like pre-gen, but like if it comes with a couple modules or whatever that kind of highlight some different ways that the questions are used or options or things like that, could help kind of spark some inspiration there.
Yeah, my only nervousness is that I'm at 120 pages already.
Sure. Yeah, that's how those always go.
It is.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna write a 50-page thing, and then it's
wow. Who does that? Who can do that? Anyway, yeah. No, thank you for that, Michael. Mendel, any roses, any thorns?
Yeah. So I did thoroughly enjoy. The characters and the way that that everything got pulled together in the final story, and what the choice of the BB of the broadcast center, because I can imagine. I actually have a vision of this. It's one of the few London buildings I have in my head, so I just thoroughly love that. And yeah, the way that I enjoyed the way that Kate was actually using her social skills for good, as it were. And Tony stealing my gun. Yeah, and with Jacko, yeah, that whole like arc. I have to admit, I was, and this gets into thornish territory, I was on the fence about X-carding some of Jacko's like blaming Vera for things after her turning him down, because that was looming into Jacko being like an abusive kind of person. And I wasn't sure if that's where you were going or not, but it was like, but I mean, I think we managed to move that into a space that it was a little bit more clear how that worked out. So
yeah, and I mean, I am thinking about some of those secret leaf descriptions, because when you have a move that says, abuse, bully, or shame,
right,
you are kind of inviting people to step into that territory,
and
I
it's
think
something that needs to be very carefully managed. And I won't get into and you can come at it from the perspective that I might be more sensitive to that than maybe other folks here too. So I'm, treat me as a canary in the coal mine there.
No, indeed, and that's why it's helpful. That's helpful.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. That's really good.
Because the other thing that this has brought home to me is that actually the effects of beating somebody up or being nasty to them are the same. So,
right. Yes.
Can I not write something that is slightly more open?
And the other side of that is, if you write something that's a little more open, this is a thorn thought I had, is there are clearly there are clearly some mechanical bits of the game that are like, okay, this is the demonic conspiracy tweaks. It didn't seem like the escaping from the horror stuff actually offers that, but in a way, like how you escape from the horror can thematically link to it. Like, it would have been interesting if one of the options was like interact with your faith against the demons, and then that can be just, I mean, it doesn't even need to be more than just a fictional positioning of that same like mentor move, right?
Well,
but then imagine
the mentor move. If you look at that move in my World War II Cthulhu, it is consult a priest.
Oh, okay. I see.
So,
okay. So yeah,
I think maybe I've moved too secular in that one. I don't know.
Well, I mean, at least for the demonic conspiracy, right?
Yeah.
But for the vampire, like the addiction metaphor is actually is stronger. So it occurs to me that like one of the nice things about being more flexible with those is you can thematically attune them. Yeah. Like, so I'm curious with the Fey one, like, like, because in the Fey one, I expect people to be tripping more than morphine to dull the pain.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Yeah, they could be seeing some stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So just like it feels like that might, but in any case, that was a sort of a general thought on that.
I'm just trying to remember, Michael. I think you were in the GCOG game, and I can't remember whether it was your character or Danielle's who did end up confiding in their priestly uncle.
That was them. Yeah. It fit, like, despite the different conspiracy, it still fit well and felt thematically appropriate. Faced with this otherworldly thing, what do you turn to?
I think the simple solution is probably to keep the wording, but then in the move descriptions provide some of that kind of wraparound. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't want to have to, I don't want to be rewriting another set of moves for each of them. But I think you're right. Finding a way to hint at flavoring, I think, is an important one. That's really helpful, folks. For me, I had a fantastic time. I loved that that Tony did actually end up, delivering the killing blow, having last time negotiated the sword. Kate, I'm so glad that you were able to talk. It would have been a real downer if you tried to talk down the politician. He said, nah. So that, the rolling a 6 on that was just spot on. Jocko's, Greg, I mean, Jocko is a tortured soul and his soul remains tortured, but at least it's his soul. And Mendel, thank you for Vera. I think Vera was a really interesting character. Sorry you couldn't have been in at the start for the first one.
Yeah, I do miss that. I do regret that.
You were kind of running to catch up, mechanically, systematically, I suppose. But yeah, great contribution in the sessions you could join us with. So I am chuffed with that, folks. I've overrun significantly. I'm going to stop the recording now.